2,
And everybody,
1.
welcome back to Filmatic Podcast. I'm here with an all-star group of individuals to discuss Avatar: The Way of Water. But first, we have a question, an integral question relevant to this topic. I want to know, what is everybody's favorite blue character? All right, I'm going to start on my screen, so we'll start with Darian. What's your favorite blue character?
This is a tough one. My immediate choice was going to be Breaking Bad Jesse Pinkman after he falls into the urinal. However, I'm starting to realize there's a lot of blue characters. All right, so that's my human choice.
It's very funny.
I would say otherwise it's probably a Pokemon Greninja.
Okay.
I'll go with that for my non-human. And then if we're just talking about real-world animals that aren't humans, I would probably say a shark. So
Okay.
one of them's got to be blue.
I was gonna say, okay, yeah, all right, I'll accept a lot of answers. I like it. All right, Skyla, newcomer on the podcast, by the way. Welcome.
Hi. I don't know many blue characters. I don't really like the blue Care Bear. I don't really like the Smurfs. Chief Wiggum's, he's dumb.
Yeah.
I like the mom on Avatar, the mommy on Avatar. I think.
Okay, you're referring to Nietri, of course.
Yeah. Of humans that are blue. Oh no! Hold on. I'm taking the blue mommy back.
Okay.
We talked about this a moment ago. From Monsters vs. Aliens, Bob. Is that his name?
Bob. I believe it stands for something. It's like an acronym. I don't know what it stands for, but we'll look that up.
Jamie, pull that up.
Yeah, Jamie. I miss Jamie. Jamie was here last week. He was a big help. So Bob stands for benzoate ostylazine bicarbonate. Okay. He's a blue, one-eyed, indestructible gelatinous mass that was spontaneously created in a lab when scientists injected a chemically altered ranch dressing into a genetically altered tomato. You didn't know.
So why is he blue? It doesn't matter. Stupid question.
Just that description, that might be the most Seth Rogen character of all time. Just a combination of ranch with a tomato. I feel like most
Seth Rogen characters are just Seth Rogen. So
exactly.
There you go. All right, Evan. Evan was pitched this, little intro to me in the beginning, so I'm really excited to hear his answer. What's your favorite blue character?
It's like, unfortunately, it's not like a super exciting one. I probably have like two solid picks. So like, honorable mention's got to go to like the blue M&M guy. He's got. Okay. I kind of like the orange one and the red one a little more. The red one's like kind of like grouchy. It's like, hey,
I believe it's the orange one that says, "Do you think we're stupid?" In the first of all, we're talking about the. Is this an envelope? Oh no, this is an envelope.
Here's your mission.
Movie theater intro.
This is an envelope.
Yes, I think he's the one who says, "Do you think we're stupid?" and hits the lamp, and it swings around and hits him in the head.
Or no, that might be the red one. That's probably the red one because he's like kind of.
I thought the red was the angry one.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and the orange one.
There's two versions.
Yeah, he's
there's one version of that ad where at the end it's like eat M&Ms and turn off your cell phones, and there's a little stinger at the end where the bomb is still ticking because the red one walked away.
Yeah, of course.
And the orange guy is like, why is it still ticking? You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, why is it still counting? Yeah, you're right. That's it. My point being, I think the orange one is the stupid one. So,
he's alright.
And what about that green one though, huh?
Please don't get political.
True. And like the brown one, who Tucker Carlson does not find attractive anymore because she has different. Let's see. What are some other good blue characters? Honestly, fuck Dory. Like, I like Finding Nemo, but nah. Dude, I think my pick's got to go to the man James P. Sullivan, and also the I don't know, what would you call it? The notorious Baby Smitty who chomps on Mike Wazowski's foot.
That's an underrated. That's a gem. That's a gem right there.
Yeah.
And Jeff, do you have a favorite blue character?
We've been looking at this visual of a bunch of different blue characters, but
This
Darian just made me
pixel
think of
visual.
it's so terrible to look at.
We'll post it on the Instagram. They'll see it as a teaser. They'll see it.
It's unintelligible. You can't really see what you're looking at. But Darian had mentioned his favorite real life blue character being Jesse Pinkman, and I gotta pick Tobias Funke from Arrested Development. That instantly put that into my head. But then outside,
Michael, I blew myself.
I blew myself. Just
there you go.
A hilarious.
It's crazy because Darian chose Jesse Pinkman, who's in Breaking Bad, with Saul Goodman, played by Bob Odenkirk. You chose Tobias, who's played by David Cross, and obviously the two started as a comedy duo in Mr. Show. Mm-hmm. So, I'm just trying to, piece things together. For my favorite blue character, so many to choose from. Chief Wiggums was mentioned. I'm a big fan of Chief Wiggums. I think he's pretty funny. However, also, I think we're forgetting Mr. Meeseeks, Look at Me.
I was going to say.
Come on.
Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. I think that's a great pick. I think that's
so between Wiggums, Mr. Meeseeks, and Papa Smurf, I think those are going to be my top three in no specific order. So,
not so deep.
The alarm is ringing. It's time to start the podcast and dive right into Avatar. The Wave. What was that? What was that scoff? I didn't like that.
Doing a little PTSD here.
Yeah, that siren is also used. It's used to launch us into the podcast. It's also going to be used later for something very special. We'll get to that. But first, Avatar: The Way of Water. It's been the first one came out in 2009. Here we are in 2022. Well, we're recording in 2023, but this movie came out in December 2022, and
apparently my grandparents saw the first one in theaters. I didn't even see the
that's interesting.
In theaters. Yeah, I know. They said they enjoyed it. They did not see the second one though, or else they'd be on this review.
They would be. They're contractually, they would have to be. But yeah, so here we are. I guess the first thing I kind of want to talk about is, and anyone can jump in on this. When was the last time you saw the first one, and how did that impact your feelings going into this? Okay, I guess I'll start just so you guys can start kind of thinking. For me, I truly have not seen the first one since the year after it came out, when it was on DVD. So 2010, and I had very vague memories of it, and I didn't remember not disliking it, but I remember just thinking it was okay. And whenever somebody would talk about it, I'd just be like, it's whatever. Why are we talking about it? And then you start to learn about the box office. It's like, wait, what? That's the top grossing movie of all time? It's so strange, because it didn't seem to have any lasting. I guess a lot of people use this term online, but cultural relevance. What is the cultural relevance of Avatar? And I was just kind of, to be honest and to be frank, I just kind of jumped on that ship in my mind, where it's like, yeah, it's not relevant. No one ever talks about it. I don't really get it. They're coming out with a new one. What? Darian and I specifically, I remember I've had many a conversation about it, just hearing the movie news and such, and just talking about, the hell is this even going to be about? What happened in the first one? We watch movie clips and try to piece together what happened in the first one. I know that sounds stupid. Why didn't we just watch the movie? But anyway, I don't know. That's what we did. It's like, oh, so the general, he died. How did he, anyway. Anyway, my point was, going into this, I went in with an open mind, but I went in with a little bit of a sour kind of taste in my mouth from what people have been talking about, and the fact that no one had been talking about it. And I just assumed it was going to be, hate to use the forbidden word, but mid. I don't think it was mid. I think it was a lot better than mid. I think it was a really good movie. But we'll talk about that. And I might be in the minority in some things as we get into it. Because I also finally rewatched the first one a few days ago. I rewatched the first one on my own for the first time since 2010. and I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. And anyway, I'm not trying to suck off James Cameron or anything, but we'll get into it. So I'll open the floor up now to anybody who wants to jump in. Feel free on the same topic.
Yeah, I likewise. I had not seen it since it came out and it was available. As soon as it was available to watch on TV on demand, that's when me and my family watched it.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was like back when we had just 2010, so we got like a 55-inch screen TV just before it came out. Back when that was like the largest you could do, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was just the one thing I remember about it was I did not like the plot, but I was very impressed by the graphics. You would not really see that, especially on something that you could get on demand at the time. It was very impressive to me. But I just, likewise, I did not watch the movie, did not watch a recap of the movie prior to going into this. I, you know, I had often said that Avatar is the one movie I will never watch again and would never watch a sequel of. And we see how I stick to my guns there. But I was very surprised because I had no recollection of the movie at all. And I was talking to Evan trying to figure out what the first movie was even about when he picked me up to go watch this movie. And I will commend James Cameron on doing a great job on making it so that way you don't even have to have any knowledge really of the first movie to be able to jump into this one. Just as long as you knew like the basic like three plot points. Oh, humans came, they tried to take the planet. Human guy becomes an alien. They take back the planet, and it was. I will also agree. It was a very enjoyable movie. I won't say it was a great movie like you did, but I was also expecting it to be quite terrible when I came in. So I'm very surprised and somewhat pleased.
Yeah.
All right.
First time on, already messing things up.
Evan, you go, Evan.
Sorry, I have horrible connection. Viewers at home, sorry.
True.
So I apologize if I'm like laggy. All right. You know what? I actually don't remember how long ago I saw the first Avatar. I've seen it twice, and each time I saw it, it was on probably like it was on this like Blu-ray copy we had because I remember like when Avatar was first coming out on physical, it was like when Blu-ray was I think first like kind of becoming like a big thing, and I think that was like supposedly one of the movies that like got a lot of people to start like converting to Blu-ray. So I had this copy. I don't know like who got it, but we've had it around our house. So I had never saw the first one in theaters like most like or I guess I don't know, maybe not a lot of people our age, but like a lot of people older than us seem to have gone to like see it in theaters. I want to say the last time I saw it was probably like 3 or 4 years ago. And I've always kind of been on the side that like I think it's a pretty decent movie. It's not like it's like neither like great nor bad, but I think it's like better. It has more like cool qualities and interesting qualities in my opinion than it does like bad qualities. And I kind of vibe with like Pandora. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I'll stop there.
I'll go. I will go now. I was probably 2 when I saw this movie, maybe 7. I'm not sure. Mathematically, whatever. Came out on movie. I watched it at my cousin Russell's house. So that was scary because I'm very scared of him, and he's in prison now. So I had reason to be scared of him. And I don't remember much of the movie, but I remember my parents telling me that like it was super groundbreaking because of the details in it, but I didn't really care or notice anything. I don't know. I was a child and everything kind of looks the same on the TV to a child, I feel like. So it wasn't that impressive to me. Yeah, I don't remember any of the plot from it. I had to also be run down before we saw the movie, which I think helped. I don't think I could understand what the hell was going on if I didn't get a refresher of the first movie plot sequence, especially the part about the mom and her daughter who like is having a seizure, and she's like,
also like the hair.
yeah, that still doesn't really make sense.
Okay.
Yeah. I do remember my cousin Justin had just been, he just got back from like Iraq or whatever, and he had my mom in a chokehold. So that's all I could remember. Not in like an evil way, but in like a playful, like, I'm back. So that's really all I remember about my Avatar movie is my mom in a chokehold.
Maybe you should
that's how I
often
often
in a chokehold.
I often greet my family when I return home from college. I just, give the old dad a
It's automatic. I know.
I love this sound.
Darian, did you have any just random thoughts before we get specific about the same thing about going into it?
Yeah, I mean, I think my thoughts are like the exact same as yours were, Nabil. Like, I don't know, I didn't really.
Yeah.
I didn't get it on one level, but also I did get it because, money. But from James Cameron being a real person who cares about making movies, I thought it was kind of weird. I don't know. I think the first one was like, I haven't rewatched it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know that much about it. But from what I did go back and rewatch with you, scenes-wise, it doesn't feel like it's held up that well. It doesn't feel like it's held up horribly, but it just feels kind of like,
yeah,
I don't know. Going back, some of the visuals feel a little. They're still good. They're still good for how old they are, but like compared to the new movie, they definitely feel a little bit off. I think personally.
That's fair.
I'm like conflicted as to whether it's like a super forgettable movie or whether like or if it's not, because like I remember like the general gist of the first one, but then there's also like I can't like name how like a certain like scene that I like that or like a character I like and like certain things that play out in the movie. It's like I don't know.
Yeah.
It's definitely
I think
you watch it like
concept is cool.
Yeah,
like I remember the concept being cool.
And
I mean, I was in the same boat as both of you up until recently when I feel like a big thing, and I can only speak for myself, so maybe it sounds stupid, but a big thing for me when watching a movie, in any, whether it's watching a new movie or rewatching something, is like the perspective and mindset I'm in when I go into it. So when I rewatched the first one, finally, after all these years, with the context of the second movie, going in with an open mind, whereas where I feel like if I had watched it a week before seeing the second movie, I would have had a very different mindset. Not saying that I think I still would have liked it. You know what I'm trying to say, though? It's like, I feel like now I do, I've been saying, like, I feel like I do understand the play-by-play of scenes now, and I do, even, Skyla mentioned Sigourney Weaver's character being connected to the tree and having seizures and whatever, like, yeah, it's still, like, fucking absurd. But they're actually, unless I'm, like, overanalyzing it, I think there is something in the first movie that does give a hint to why that's happening, and I'm sure it'll be followed through in the third movie, which we can discuss later, I guess. My point being, I really, in the last 2 weeks, everything's kind of flipped for me. I'm an Avatar fan. I mean, which I'm kind of joking, but I actually am excited to see the next movie. If given the opportunity, I would rewatch this movie. That's just how I feel now. I really, yeah, and we'll get into it. But yeah, so I guess that's a good place to kind of wrap that section up about how we all feel going into it. I do want to mention, though, we talk a lot about the box office for this. There's been a lot of questions leading up to it as to will it perform the way it needs to perform. There were things floating around. I know we were all echoing when we saw the movie that it needs to make $2 billion, which I learned isn't necessarily true. Apparently, what James Cameron meant in that quote was that 2 and 3 need to make $2 billion. Oh, sorry, 2 and 3 need to make $2 billion for it to profit. In fact, this movie only needed $400 million to profit, which at this point it's at $1.5 billion. So
then they'll be fine.
It's doing really well.
I guess.
Yes, not I guess they are going to be fine.
I guess we're getting 5 after all, probably then.
Most likely, yeah. I mean, it looks like it's going to hit $2 billion by the end of the month.
That's crazy. Actually,
you think he's going to live that long? Not to be rude, but
I know I brought that up before.
Right.
I mean,
it's like a water sports guy, right? He always has like.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps.
that was
I know what you're talking about. He always has that shirt on. That's like the logo.
yeah. He loves water so much.
Yeah.
He made like 3 movies about water.
Let's see. He is 68. So.
Yeah, he'll be.
I think he'll be fine.
Terrible
I don't know.
He's gonna make it to 4. All right, he's gonna make it to 4 because because they've already finished filming 3 and they're halfway through filming 4. So.
And didn't you say that 3 is supposedly about fire Navi people?
Okay, well, so it came out a few days ago. I'm sure Darian probably saw. Would you see it on Twitter, Darian? That's where I saw it. But it was a quote
on YouTube, actually.
And this is like confirmed.
I saw yes, it was a quote from James Cameron, where he's like, "We're exploring the Flubulakis, the fire avatar." I'll look it up, but he confirmed.
People of the ash.
Yes, that's what it is. That's a better way to.
I think that's gonna be really hard to sell. Like water people, like okay, they're alien, they live on a different planet. You can accept a certain degree of like this is not really making sense, but fire, I mean, you saw how devastated they were when their forest was burning. I know there are different type of people that would be living in the fire zone, but how habitable can a fire habitat be? I don't think it can be.
I think it'll be cool to look at least. I mean...
Is everything going to be engulfed in flames? That won't be fun to look at.
That's raw. What are you talking about? That's awesome.
They won't be able to do their little hair trick.
They're
confirmed that it was.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll read a quote from James Cameron about this. So, quote, showing cultures different from those I've already shown, Cameron told French outlet. Quote, like the fire will be represented by ash people. I want to reveal the Na'vi from another angle because for the moment I've only shown their good sides. In the early films, there are very negative human examples and very positive Na'vi examples. In Avatar 3, we'll have the opposite. You will also explore new universes while continuing the story of the main characters. I can say that the last parts will be the best. The others were an introduction, a way to set the table before serving the meal. But obviously everything depends on how Avatar 2 will be received if it finds its audience. So...
I understand it now. The Na'vi have scorned this other group of people who probably didn't live in a fire habitat, but now do because they scorched earth them and they're rehabilitating and everything is demolished. That's my bet.
What if they're just arsonists? What if they just burn everything and that's why they're evil? I think that would be cool.
Same effect, I guess.
That the Na'vi have done horrible things to each other, and that's why this group exists. I was just like, oh, so they're going to be like racist, like hateful tribe of aliens, like killing the other ones or some shit.
No,
like,
I like this idea. I like this concept.
Avatar Nazis. That's what I was thinking of.
No.
It's always,
they always do Nazis in movies. Let me tell
it's
you.
always the Germans.
I'm a little sleepy. But when I wake up, I'm going DEFCON 3 on the Ash people.
Is there a soundbite like we can do?
I definitely think it's a good idea though to switch it like that.
Go ahead, Jeff.
That's a very good concept because I feel like the first and the second movies have the same kind of ideology. It's in come the humans to take over the planet. And it would be interesting because you almost just see the Na'vi as this incredible group of people. There's moments where obviously they're not perfect. No culture is. But overall, you see them kind of as a pure simple people. I mean, they have simple traditions, they follow with it, and they're very in tune with nature. So I think it'd be very interesting to see it completely flipped. And now that you're saying that, I'm very curious and actually am very excited about this third movie.
Like if the fire Navi like sided with the humans.
Dude, that'd be awesome. That's a really good idea, I feel like. From a writing perspective, I would love to see that, at the very least.
Yeah.
Does that make the Navi, the fire Navi, the French?
French. That's funny. So, all right. So, my point with that was the box office. Right now, it's at $1.5 billion, well beyond profitable. It's going to hit at least $2 billion. Probably going to become the highest grossing movie again, surpassing the first one.
Nah, really?
I don't know.
I don't think
I think it's on track. I think it might.
It's going to do better than Black Adam? Are we sure?
The higher
pretty sure made Black Adam's like entire domestic run in one weekend. Like, pretty sure it beat Black Adam on day 3. Like,
that's not true. That's actually not.
We're going to revolutionize the superhero paradigm. That's what he says.
The hierarchy of Navi is going to change.
Avatar 3 will just end, and it will be like, so what should we call your people? Ash people. And
Jake
We're Ash people now.
Ash people just doesn't inherently sound very derogatory.
That's it. We're Ash people.
And then in the fourth one, it's like, so that's it. We're desert people now.
Or some kind of... Well, another quote, he said, in Avatar 5, there will be scenes on Earth. We're going to see what Earth is like. We're going to see what humans...
In Avatar 5?
Yeah.
5?
You're going to...
He's fucking dead before it comes out.
I think you guys are underestimating. This guy swims a lot, okay?
Okay, but wait, now
the
second one's come out, right? Aren't they, like, gonna start churning them out more often? Isn't it, like, gonna be done by,
okay, so 3 is coming out...
5 or something?
Yeah, so right now they're trying to do every 2 years. So 3 is coming out in December 2024. 4 is coming out in December... It's already filmed. 4 is coming out... I don't believe
that's gonna happen.
It literally is. It's done.
Already filmed?
That's absurd. Yeah, they filmed it back to back. Avatar 4.
But it cost them $10 million a scene to do this.
James Cameron was like, it'll depend on how the second one does, but we already filmed this one. So
filming is not the problem, Darian. The VFX is what they need the money for.
Editing down the 9 hours of footage into a completely different movie is the problem.
Avatar 4 will be coming out in December 2026. And then at that point, hopefully 5 will have been greenlit, and it'll come out in 2028.
Okay, let's go for 7, so round up a decade. Or 6, I mean, not 5, or 5, 7,
how do you
6.
guys feel?
5.
Let's say there's even like one delay. We're talking about Avatar 5 in 2030. Most of us will be 30.
2020s is the
James Cameron will be dead.
James Cameron's AI
it's going to be a posthumous movie.
Well, I mean, he'll at least have written it, right? Because I think he's written all of them.
Oh my god.
The ancient texts.
He's written them, but they have 9 hours of footage for number 3. How does that work?
Well, because
he's written novels?
No, they don't have. He's okay. Hold on.
Nah,
there's 9 hours of. There is 9 hours of footage for number 3 because it's done. They finished filming. He wants them to do the VFX. He's trying to push to get the VFX done for all 9 hours and then split parts of it off into streaming.
Whoever, though, is what I'm saying. It's like, I'm going to write up, I'm making a movie. And then they come out with 9 hours of footage.
I'd be surprised. I mean, I think it is pretty common for there to be...
Really?
Not 9 hours, obviously. It's common for there to be more footage than the runtime.
Yeah, definitely.
I expect that. But this is like 3 movies, 9.
You know,
True.
Yeah, that should be 3 movies. What are
I'm
they going to do?
Blue.
I don't know.
Are they going to have like The Matrix in 2004 put out 3 movies?
It could potentially also include like what might become the 4th movie. Because I know didn't he also say that like he made it in a like what they filmed so far or like they had a plan where they like if they had to cut it off at 3 and make it a trilogy. So honestly, like
yeah, that is true. And also, he's filmed stuff for 4 because the kids will be aged. They'll grow up. So there's certain flashbacks and scenes that he wants them, still as kids that he's filmed.
It's fucking time
They're all
traveling
computer
before-
generated.
No, but this is I got a problem, all right, because it's not computer generated, all right, it's performance capture, all right, buddy, because it's not just a video game cutscene, it's the actor. That's what's so groundbreaking. Now, okay, I'm gonna let loose a little bit of the sarcasm because this is true. The difference is, it is literally what's so groundbreaking about it is that it's actually capturing the performance of the actor. Versus other CGI shit where it's just painted over entirely.
Yeah. It's weird how you can like.
I didn't know that.
You can like see Sam Worthington's face on like Jake Sully as an avatar.
Yeah. Never thought I'd want to see Sam Worthington so up and close, but here we are.
Damn. But they also had to age down Sigourney Weaver, so they like performance captured her, but they also aged her down and made her a completely different.
Yeah, no, that I'm not gonna. That was a little weird.
Nah, I vibe with that.
Also,
like,
yeah, it was cool. No, don't get me wrong, it was cool. It was just an unorthodox choice. I mean, it worked out, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I thought the lighting in Avatar 2: The Way of Water was really, really good. Like,
yes,
I just like the
sure.
realistic, like, maybe not like the, like, I don't know, however they did it, dude. Like, the visuals are pretty crazy, I gotta say. Like, it was realistic as hell.
It's just, I mean, you can't deny it, no matter how you feel about the plot and other things, is like the level of intricate detail that has gone in, and technicalities that have gone into the world building, I think really immerses you. You know what I mean? No matter how you feel about it.
That like shot in the beginning of Neytiri when it's like, I don't know, she's just like walking through the woods, or she's like pregnant, but like, dude, it looked nuts, man. That was one of like those really good shots of me.
Yeah, especially because you have the direct comparison, or at least I specifically saw a direct one with those scenes in the beginning and the end where they're back in the forest, and you can directly compare that to the Avatar 1 shots. And like Darian said, I mean, you can tell how far they've come. I mean, it's crazy. And Avatar 1 does not look bad by any means either. You know what I mean?
Nah, I think it still holds up. It's better than like a lot
especially
of
if you consider that
today.
Like, it came out in 2009, but they started in 2006, right? So, I mean, it's not even like you can. Yeah, it's just crazy.
Didn't you mention before when we were watching the movie that this was an entirely new brand of CGI that they had to develop specifically for this movie?
Well, they're building on what they had in the first one. I mean, they've completely like overhauled it, obviously, with all the technologies that have come out since.
Honestly,
I think they even have I think he has a patent on certain parts of this technology too.
Do you think it makes like the 10, 12-year wait in between movies kind of worth it? Because I almost feel like that
I
was
think it's definitely an upside
idea. In a way.
Well, there were certain things he said that couldn't have been done unless it was the last few years.
It loses a lot of,
like what?
A lot of its staying power, like taking so long. But I don't know. I feel like just in like the past 10 years, like it seems like they could tell like how much better it was with these like computer CGI and shit was gonna get. I don't know. I'm not an expert on CGI by any means, but
no, and you can just tell instantly, like with the shot of the sky people returning. That was
true when they come back and they burn down. I thought that was okay. So there was some criticism online.
I was confused.
Jeff's a Navi now. So there's some criticism online. I know Casey, who hasn't even seen the movie, mentioned it to me. People were kind of lambasting it. When
Casey, who has not seen the movie.
My point being, Casey saw this online and brought it up to me when I said I saw the movie. He's like, isn't there a scene where the humans come back to Pandora and the rocket thrusters from their ship are so large they burn down like acres of like entire like a quarters part of the planet. And I was like, yeah. Well, apparently, so what their point was, people online are like, wow, like real subtle there, James Cameron. Okay, humans bad, we get it. Like people were like getting mad at that. Apparently, I thought it was pretty cool. I liked it.
Yeah,
thoughts.
it
It was
was
definitely
CGI.
evocative. Like I saw it and I was
Yeah.
like, oh no, these
There's
poor
a-
people. Hopefully there's nobody out there.
dude.
It was undeniably my favorite
giant.
part of CGI in the movie.
Yeah,
It was
I think it was. It's definitely one of the
incredible.
first things I saw that kind of like started reeling me in to the.
A criticism I heard was that like apparently and it's something I didn't even notice. It might be more like something that you notice in the IMAX 3D like version, but apparently like different scenes, like a lot of like the action sequences were shot at like a different frame rate, like apparently like a much smoother frame rate, and like
Yeah, well, apparently only certain theaters have that too. Has to be a
yeah,
specific
I guess
theater.
like for some people like it was kind of jarring and didn't look good, but I didn't
Right,
really
because it went
notice
in and out. I think.
Yeah, because it would like
I don't
randomly
think we
shift
had it in our
between like
theater.
shots, so it's kind of like
I'm pretty sure it was specific theaters and
Okay.
only an IMAX 3D that had that.
okay,
So
Huh.
interesting.
we
Yeah,
didn't
because
have that.
I never noticed it. We saw it in
Yeah, no, there's.
not 3D.
We saw it in
It's $3 cheaper.
standard.
Standard definition.
Also, I throw up when I
Standard.
see 3D.
I have
last time
not
you
seen
saw
a
3D
3D
throw up?
movie, and
That Star Wars movie, I got really sick.
Star Wars in 3D.
I actually don't know what the last
Which
3D movie I saw. I haven't seen many. I think the first one I saw was Journey to the Center of the Earth with Brendan Fraser.
What a good movie.
I was telling this to Darian, I think, the other day, but like I remember being a kid, it was always so hyped to see 3D. Like I'd be like, oh my god, please, I really hope we're going to see the 3D version, you know? And I remember, I think the last 3D movie I remember enjoying was Avengers: Age of Ultron. I remember sitting in the theater.
You enjoyed that movie? Okay.
No, at the time, I don't know, whatever.
So
At the
I
time,
didn't even think about that.
I do. For the record, it's one of the worst. Okay, but at the time, I was like just sitting there, and the movie was starting, 3D, big IMAX 3D screen. I got the popcorn. It's opening night. I'm like, this is cinema, in my head. Like this is it. You can't get better than this. And then I think that was the last time I really enjoyed it. And then after that, I was like, how did I ever like this? This is terrible. It sucks. Now, some people are saying that the problem with Realty 3D is that most movies aren't shot to be 3D, and they're just converting it to 3D for the money, for all that. Whereas with Avatar, James Cameron specifically shot them to be shown in 3D, IMAX 3D. So that's kind of the flip side argument of it, I guess. I don't know if that you guys feel. Knowing that
Why don't you just bring a pair of the glasses to the theater?
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's the exact same. No, but I definitely would. I would see it in 3D. No, having seen it now, and having heard what you said, I would be very excited to see it, because there's definitely some scenes where it seems like you could really make that work with having them pop off the screen. But
whenever I went to one of those Real D 3D movies at like AMC, I always found like the movie to be like extremely blurry with those glasses on.
Yes.
And like really only things
that
in,
was
like,
definitely a
the
big thing.
foreground or like close-up shots would kind of come out clearly.
Yeah, I think that's a product of what people are talking about, where they're just blasting it in the converter and then pumping it out without any any kind of cinematic like grading or work.
Click the convert to 3D button.
Yeah, literally, like a clipconverter.com.
They put in cloud convert. Online
cloud
video
YouTube
converter.
to 3D. YouTube to 3D MP4. That'd be a pretty funny converter. Just make 3D versions of YouTube videos.
To real D 3D.
Should I release this podcast in 3D?
Holy shit.
Yes.
IMAX 3D.
That'd be awesome.
4K. 60 frames per second as well during the action scenes of the podcast. Which there will be plenty.
During the Evan reviews section of
True,
the podcast,
I'll
are we still doing?
If I do it, I will record it 60 frames per second on my iPhone.
Okay, so I think this is a good point. Wait a second. Oh my god. Holy shit. It's the Evan reviews 3D IMAX section of the podcast.
Wait,
let's flip it over to Evan. Evan.
Shit.
There's a little transition there.
I was talking during that. Wait, but
it's funny.
I didn't see it.
I'm like, here's the Evan portion. You're like, wait, what's going on?
Wait, what the fuck?
I think that makes it even funnier.
I think so.
Wait, it's gonna be.
And we're back. Oh my god. It's great because Evan is already reviewing the movie. Don't you get it? It's hilarious.
I am trapped in Bushnell, Florida. Help me, save me. I have no car. It is broken down. Perhaps totaled. I'm in the middle of Central Florida. That is all.
Okay, so now
back to
I guess
Avatar.
we can get back on Avatar. Let's talk about the specific plot. All right. So I guess we can go through with the general play-by-play. Yeah.
What? that was my plot. That was my first act synopsis.
They were fucking.
It's true. They were fucking. We discover that Jake and Neatri have many kids now. There's an older brother. There's a middle brother. There's a little girl. There's the Sigourney Weaver daughter, Kiri,
but it sounded like Kitty.
Sounds like Kitty because they have an accent. And by making fun of that, you're actually,
You're just being
they
very
adopted
insensitive.
her in, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
they adopted her in.
Wasn't one
in
immaculate conception or something?
Yeah, dude.
That's what we're talking about. Yeah,
That's
Sigourney
Kitty.
Weaver.
Okay, that's Kitty.
Yeah. They're like, we don't know how she was born.
No, wait, is that the
like-
smallest one?
No,
Oh.
Duke is nothing.
She's just a normal kid, yeah.
She's just
Tied up
She's like,
again.
not again.
This is literally like a video game. Like, I failed the mission, like, cutscene before you have to
She has been
reset.
captured
fair.
once again. Tuki Buki.
Okay, so yeah, Jake Sully has a bunch of kids now. And, we last left off as he was the appointed leader of the tribe. But guess what? Things aren't so happy anymore because after he has a bunch of kids,
Like
humans
15
are
years?
back. Yeah, 15 years, humans are back. And that's where we talked about before, ship coming back down, burning everything. Then we have another transition 1 year later. So the humans have been back for 1 year. Okay? And we also are discovering that Commander Quartrich from the antagonist from the first movie, right before he went into the final battle of the first movie, they took his DNA and cloned him. Cloned him into an avatar body. So now there's a permanent avatar.
They took his DNA. I thought they just recorded his memories and his consciousness separately to
Yeah, I guess that to be
put
more
in the
specific.
body.
Yes. So this is an avatar
Sorry.
body. No, you're right. It's an avatar body with the memories and consciousness of the general right before he died in that final battle. Given only the directive that if I'm dead, he sees a recording of himself from that time where he's like, if I'm dead, it's Jake Sully. So he's out for revenge. What were you gonna say, Evan?
I was just gonna say they made it like they made it sound so complicated that the scene actually like confused me when they were explaining what happened. When in reality, it was literally just like it's the same character. He's just now an avatar. Like that's all it is.
Yeah, I think that stems. I could be wrong. This is my view. I think that stems from them explicitly trying to notate that he has the memories of everything right before he died. So he doesn't know how he died, and he doesn't know how that fight went down. Which I think that's a pretty cool, interesting concept. You know, it leads to a later scene where he discovers his own dead body, has a little Hamlet moment with his skull, and crushes his own skull. That was kind of cool. But not even his own skull, obviously, because remember, I mean, he says it throughout the movie to Spider, I think, where he's like, I'm not that guy. I just have the thoughts of that guy. So
You're not that guy, pal.
it's an interesting concept. Yeah, literally.
You're not that guy.
And I think it is also just, in general, an interesting concept because I knew this going in, but especially having rewatched the first one now, you know, someone who hates this species so much is now trapped as one of them to get revenge. But he's one of them. I don't know. I think it's an interesting concept to put him in the body permanently. But yeah, so
A little plot-based question. I don't know if
Yes.
this might have been explained. He's just like an army guy, and he was originally sent there with like take over the planet kind of mission. Now he's coming back for his own revenge case, and there's no like goal
so
for the
no,
humans
to be
there?
clear, in the first movie, he was sent as a colonel to help fight the natives if they put up a fight when the humans were trying to mine unobtainium, a mineral called unobtainium, which is one little rock is worth like $20 million, and there's obviously mountains of it in Pandora. Yeah. So that's why he was there in the first movie, because they were originally in the first movie they were trying to make a deal with the natives, you know, like, hey, just like let us in, we won't have to kill you. He obviously really wanted to kill them. In the end, has a huge battle where he kills a bunch of them and dies by the hands of Nietri. And in this movie, he is being sent for his military skills to work for the humans because now the humans are trying to migrate to Pandora because Earth is dying.
Oh, that's right. Okay, I
Right. So
forgot
Earth
about
is
that.
dying and they want to inhabit Pandora. So their new mission is to clear out Pandora and make room for humans. Simultaneously, he has his own directive given by him to get revenge on Jake Sully.
Well, also
Orders
it
from
works.
his dead self.
It also works in the sense that in order to take out the
Right. Yeah.
Nateri people, because they were so well organized, specifically because of Jake Sully,
True.
that taking him out would have huge ramifications and, you know, effectively stop the people from
The
actually
Na'vi,
being
yeah.
able the Navi.
Yeah, I thought
Right.
like
Prevent
You
the
raise
TV
a
like that.
I thought the like government or military like whatever like humans were coming because like didn't they want him dead because like they referred to him as like an insurrectionist, right? And like there was that like Carmela
Right.
Sopranos,
They-
the like general lady, wasn't she like kind of giving him the orders to do it?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you raise a good point. I think the point was that he, as the leader of the Na'vi, had to be exterminated because they show a montage where he's like taking out shipments and, you know, there's drones flying everywhere and he keeps taking them down. Obviously, we see him in a big set piece afterwards where his son disobeys orders and almost fucking dies as they're taking down
Foreshadowing.
taking down another human shipment. My point being, you're right. It's two birds, one stone because he's also the fucking leader of the tree people. So
They
yeah.
kind of like also established like this like Mordor-esque, like human settlement that they're building, like with all these like construction sites and like they're like building like a bunch of machines and stuff. Which like kind of bothered me that it like nothing ever really like I don't know, came about that in this one, but I also see like I feel like in the long run, it might be interesting to see like this, the human force is getting stronger throughout like the series. I don't know.
Yeah,
Kind of
I
reminded
agree.
me of like Lord of the Rings, where like in like the second movie you see like little like brief things that like don't really come into play until like the next movie.
Hmm.
It'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see like
I agree.
if
Yeah,
they,
it's definitely twofold because some people are like, well, it didn't amount to anything, and they just
well, yeah,
mention it one off that humans are coming. But I agree. I think it's good
yeah, there were like a lot
world
of
building.
things that I felt like in a way were just leading up to the third movie. Like a lot of like subplots that started in this movie that never like finished. Like there was the Spider and General Guagua or whatever his name is. They kind of like form a relationship, but like nothing comes about it. And then Neytiri's like she doesn't like Spider because like he's like a feral like human Navi basically, but like she's kind of she doesn't like
Like he's pretending to be one of them, so to
say.
speak. Yes. I do think that'll be an interesting dynamic in the future movies. Obviously, I wish they could have explored it more this one, but yeah. So yeah, I guess moving forward with the plot, Quartridge tries to capture Sully's kids.
For the first
luckily,
time.
for the first time he tries.
Of many.
He's kind of successful.
Yeah.
Well, he only gets Spider.
Oh, right.
So he's not successful. I mean, he's yeah, I guess a little bit. And then once he has Spider, he hooks him up to that awesome machine with the spinning green lights. Darian, you want to talk about that?
Oh yeah.
The machines. I thought the visual was
funny
insane, dude. It felt like psychotic.
Also, I like
that.
the cut. There's like a really funny cut where it's just a different scene,
It's
and they
so
just cut
abrupt.
straight to his face with the green lights, screaming.
Yeah, just a close up of him like in like agonizing like shock.
Like Jesus Christ!
Like hilarious like flashing light just spinning around his face. It was
and then
like,
of course, I mean, just to be clear, like the machine, if you think of anything, they can see what you're thinking. The guy's got insane mental fortitude. He didn't think of anything once. They're just like, hey, where's everybody? Where are they? Which forest? Is it this forest? Is it that forest? And he just like, his mind is blank. I don't know how he did that shit. But kudos to him.
He was like, I don't know. And he was bleeding out of his nose.
Yeah, and then Quartridge is like, I'll do this the old-fashioned way. Gets him in a room.
Sucks his cut.
Which was a sign of, no, he doesn't do that. Which is a sign of, I'm your father and I know it.
True. Well, he's not really the father. He's not that guy. He's just an avatar.
You're not that guy.
He probably remembers at least creating the kid, you know?
True, he must. When did we see that scene?
I don't know.
Anyway, he convinces Spider into being his fucking tour guide in Pandora and his translator, just to speed things up a little bit. Meanwhile, after this encounter with Quartridge, Jake Sully decides it's not safe for his family to be in the forest anymore. So he hands off the title of king and flies over to the water people.
But what he really does is he tells his family it's for the better of the tribe. It'll protect the tribe, as if. So he's like, Spider's gonna rat us out and tell the humans we're here, and then he's like, wife, for the safety of our tribe and our people, we have to leave and leave them naked and afraid to be attacked by the humans.
Not saying he could have known this, but Quartridge didn't kill anybody trying to get to Jake Sully. He only tortured. Okay.
Thank God.
Well, like wasn't there the whole thing about them not being able to get up there? Like, not realistically.
Right, because they had the mountains or whatever, like, scrambled their radars or whatever, right? So it's like they couldn't... Are we thinking of the same thing?
Yes.
Were they in the same
Okay.
movie?
They called it like restricted, the restricted airspace where like they're hostile.
Yeah, the Hallelujah Mountains. I remember. That's what they're called, the Hallelujah Mountains. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the floating mountains.
Yes. And so Jake Sully flies to the water people. He's like, please, can we go to Chick-fil-A? Please, can we...
It's like the one movie where like a travel montage would be kind of cool there. Seeing them like go.
Yeah.
I mean, they show a little bit. Yeah.
It should have been
They should have shown
expanded.
more. Yeah, they should have shown more.
But then again, they had to cut down like 17 hours of the movie.
Yes, okay, so
other
let's talk about that. There's another running joke we
So
have
true.
where it's like, there's a
just
plot
seems
hole.
like
It must have been
there
cut
was
from
so
the
much
movie.
more under
But I
the
think,
surface.
yes, jokes aside, I think that for 60 to 70% of us saying that, it probably is true. It probably was if the second movie had a 9-hour runtime, who's to say this couldn't also have had a 9-hour runtime? You know what I mean? Or even just more, definitely more than what we got.
I mean, yeah, and it's clear that like
If you read a 9-hour movie once, you probably read it twice.
like I feel like there probably has been a lot more story written that will not be like shown on the in the movies just because of like those constraints. Like they kind of have to like
Yeah.
I don't know, tighten it down as much.
Well, it's also like,
and it's still like over 3
yeah,
hours.
because it's a business thing, right? Because the longer the runtime, the less show times they can have of it, which is less money.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah, true.
you have to cut it down as much as possible. So
yeah, so really like a lot of scenes like not like didn't I wouldn't say like any particular scenes felt like super rushed or anything. I think it took its time on like what it wanted to. But there were like definitely a lot of like shots that like just kind of cut off like quick, kind of move on, get to the next thing.
For sure.
But yeah, it did feel like there was a lot of like extra scenes that like could have been there that probably weren't, or like things that were missing.
I felt like a lot of scenes you could tell when you were watching. It's like, this is here for me to admire the CGI.
Yeah,
which is fine because I was admiring it.
Yeah.
I was immersed. I was like, this is cool looking.
And that was definitely the case as soon as they had left from the Hallelujah Mountains to move over to become one with the Water Tribe.
Yeah, so true.
And I think my favorite part is when there's like actual like important expositional dialogue going on between the whale, the Tokum, and one of Jake Sully's sons. And then in the middle of the conversation, they just stop for this like wide shot of the whale. And then they just start doing like fucking tricks like it's SeaWorld. But it looks cool, but it's just like nonsensical in a way. Like it's fine. I don't think they needed to like have an extended dialogue there.
Don't you think that them doing tricks established later on the bond that they have?
It did.
That's true. I just thought it was funny.
They hadn't done tricks, and it's like, what the fuck does this kid care for?
Well, it's just funny because the kid asks them a direct question, they do a bunch of tricks, and then like a day later, we cut back to him answering the question.
Well, isn't that to show? Okay, I'm gonna play Cameron's advocate here. Isn't that to show?
Cameron's advocate.
Isn't that to show that the whale doesn't want to talk about the atrocity that he committed? That's teased throughout this whole middle section of the movie, where it's like he's an outcast.
That was such a weird.
Possibly.
Like,
Again, I'm just playing Cameron's advocate.
that was like one of the things in the plot that I just didn't really understand. Like the whole like, this is like an outcast whale because there's like a bunch of whales that used to live with what were the water people called? Don't they have a name? Or like their tribe has like a name?
Sinavi?
Nah, I don't think that's it, dude. But yeah, the sea people. Yeah, they used to be the whales. Then
Metcaina.
They
So
use that word in the movie.
The forest people are called Omatikaya. which I actually remember.
Obviously.
Yeah, I remember that now.
The second movie is the second tribe is Metkaina.
Those both
MET.
sounds like first drafts of what Die Hard, what Bruce Willis is supposed to say when he says "yippee-ki-yay." They both sounds like
Metkaina.
Everyone remembers when Bruce Willis said Metkaina.
Metkaina, motherfucker.
They should write that line into the next movie for
Machikahu,
Sam Worthington,
motherfuckers.
because he is a sea people now.
So, talking about the whales, I guess the point of the whale being an outcast is that the whales abide by a very strict code of peace, and he violated that code of peace, which is why he was an outcast. But later on, it's the breaking of that oath that saves the Metkaina people. So, I guess that's to show the flip sides of that.
Yeah. I did like the whales.
Also, the whales, and he was only fighting. He only broke the code of peace because there were fucking poachers, poaching the whales, right? And why are they poaching the whales? Because the whales have a liquid in their fucking gums that, correct me if I'm wrong, but
I thought it was brains.
So, yeah, you're right, brains. That I thought gums because they went inside the mouth for anyway. Makes humans live forever.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure will be explained in another movie.
Yeah. Focused on for half a second.
It's worth, like, each bottle is worth like $400 million or something.
Well, it was focused on much more in the extended cut, but they had to, obviously
They cut
cut
it
it
down.
from the movie.
Yeah, that's dude. If you have any problems with this movie, it's just because it was cut from the movie. You can't blame it. It's not the movie's fault.
I think we're skipping over the part.
It was cut.
Yeah, please feel free to jump around because there's so much to talk about.
I just, when they came to the water people, the crew, the gang, they're like,
Sullys.
"You're here."
Sully.
Yeah,
family.
the Sully
Always stick
family.
together.
And the people are like, 1, they're a lighter blue. 2, they look way cooler. 3, they're obviously way stronger. 4, they've got big ass tails. 5, there's a little girl that comes up out of the water, and you can tell that she's going to be a love interest.
Yeah, true.
That's just a separate thought. 6, their hair is presented differently, which I found very interesting to watch. I think another reason they had to wait so long on this movie was hair animation. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
The hair is really good,
animation is
bro.
particularly
Sam
hard.
Worthington's dreadlocks. That shit, you could see every little piece.
True. Yeah, I thought the meeting was good because it was really tense because they had to be like, "Let us stay," and the water people were like,
Did you know
"You can't bring your problems here."
True. I will talk. I just want to mention. Sorry, random thought. Did you know that the chief's wife is played by Kate Winslet?
Oh, really?
Yes. Fun fact. Fun facts. New fun facts. Filmatic podcast.
Away.
Anyway. Yes.
She does not look like her at all.
Yeah, it's weird. She's like the one avatar that doesn't look like. Well, no, I guess Nietri doesn't really look a lot like Zoe Saldana. I think the only avatars that look like humans are the ones that were humans. Am I
Is
wrong?
it Nietri or Nietri?
No, that's so fair.
I'm confused now.
Zoe Saldana, I can definitely see it.
Yeah, I think it's Niet. What you said.
To an extent, for sure.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly kind of like the look of the darker blue avatars more.
I agree. Do you think the fire people will be
That's
red?
racist.
I think they're gonna be black. I think they're gonna look like
I think they're gonna be like lighter, like kind of like
They're ash people.
yeah, like gray.
I'm
They'll have to be
honestly
shades of
betting
blue,
they're,
right?
They're just gonna be blue, and they're gonna like put ash on themselves instead of paint. Honestly, that's what I'm
That's
thinking.
pretty good.
Okay, I can see
Good
that.
idea.
Or maybe they're like a pale gray and they do that.
Ideally, they would live in a volcano. That would be awesome.
That would be lit.
But,
Like
I
a
think
big
that's all.
volcano but instead of lava, it has purple butterflies.
The legacy of lava.
And you can plug your hair into the sockets in the wall. Get all.
Yeah, I want some electricity.
Dude,
what if they make a point where it's
electricity
like,
avatar?
humans were right. Jake Sully regrets everything. Like leaves his family to go back into his crippled corpse.
That's Avatar 6.
I always forget
That's Avatar 6.
Well,
as a human.
okay, yeah. So that's another
Yeah.
element of the first movie I just wanted to mention. Having rewatched it, we talked about Darian. He didn't just stay as an avatar for the legs. He was the general. The
Could
general.
you imagine if that was
No, I just want to be
guys? I
clear.
did it for the fucking legs. Like,
I'm just
I'm
saying,
married
you
by
can't
wife,
even make
had
that
children
outlandish
for
point
the
because
legs.
the general offers him his legs back if he spies on the Navi, which he does. And there's a scene where he's like surgery to get his legs.
they were like, dude, we could have just given you legs the entire
It's
time.
20. It's like 2150. Come on.
Yeah, that's fair.
He's like, there's a scene where he's like sitting alone in the military base as a human, because back then he had to go in and out of the body, and the general's like, "Oh, you did your job. We're gonna go kill all those Navi now. Hey, I got a flight for you. You can go get your legs now." And Sam Worthington's like, "No thanks," and then does what he does. My point being, it wasn't just for the legs.
It was for
All right.
love.
It was for love, and yeah, it was for love. So, yeah. Anyway,
What am I? Some kind of avatar? And then he like gets out of the wheelchair and fights.
So, what do you guys think about the shifting of the focus from the parents to the kids in this movie? The kids are clearly being set up to be major players in this Avatar universe in the future movies. It's always about the next generation. How do you guys feel about that?
I just feel like they should have given him more time. I don't know. It wasn't bad though.
Well, that was a
More
large focus of the whole film. If anything, I feel like Sam Worthington's character and Neytiri take a huge step back.
Yeah.
And it's all mostly about the middle son and then Sigourney Weaver's character, Kiri.
Right. Since we just said Sigourney Weaver, reminded me of something I was going to say earlier as well. In the first movie, Sigourney Weaver. Okay, God. So they're trying to escape the original military base because the Commander Cortridge is like, no more avatars. We're taking out all your machines. You can't do this shit anymore, Morty. We gotta kill all the avatars. So their plan is to fly to steal a helicopter and fly away to the top of the Hallelujah Mountains to a remote mobile base, which is the base that you see at the beginning of this movie with the dead body. When they're going to fly there, the general finds out they're leaving. It's actually a pretty cool scene. I did not remember this, by the way, because what happens is humans can't breathe outside, right? So they put on the masks and they run outside. They try to get in the helicopter and take off. Someone's like, "General, we got an unregistered helicopter taking off." He goes outside without a mask and just holds his breath with a fucking RPG and starts shooting at the helicopter. It's a crazy scene.
Wow.
And my point being, it wasn't an RPG, it was a machine gun, because he shoots Sigourney Weaver. Fatal wound. She's dying.
What?
Yes, this is how she dies in the first movie. So then Jake Sully takes Sigourney Weaver's dying human body, along with her avatar body, and they try to perform an ancient ritual to permanently merge, to transfer her human to Avatar, which we
is that confirmed? Like, it's not like something they don't normally do. It's like they don't think it's gonna work when they do it.
It's a gamble. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a fucking ancient magic ritual. So they put her on they connect her to the fucking home tree. It's all wrapped around her, and it's wrapped around her avatar. And they do a big ritual. It doesn't work, and she dies. However, when she dies, she is literally enveloped by the home tree into the ground. And as she's dying, you see from her perspective, her final words are, "Jake, I see it." And he's like, what are you talking about? I see. Literally, she says, I see Awa. And then you see a spiral, like CGI little blinding white thing. I can't describe it.
Dude, I don't remember this.
That's what I'm saying. I don't remember it either. But I think it's integral.
Awa?
It's like their deity that connects everything and all of them. It's basically like their god.
Okay.
The whole planet's like sentient, right?
Yes,
like,
it's okay. That's
So are we
it's a
thinking
planet.
that like Awa is responsible for this immaculate conception?
I think
and
she
her
is
astral
Awa at
body?
this point.
Well, I'm wondering. Okay, now that gives me a new idea. I was thinking like, so I was thinking maybe before she died, she was pregnant and it was not revealed. Like, oh, someone there. Maybe
Who fucked her?
the bad guy, had sex with her, like raped her or something, and then her body was
so.
like reborn with the Avatar tree. So like she was still
I
pregnant.
think this is a
But
Jesus
now
metaphor.
now it seems like, or maybe she was like, oh, we couldn't transfer her to the body, but like we transferred her
The planet.
to be like, no, I was saying like, what if they transferred her to like be reborn, and it is just Sigourney
That's
Weaver.
why
Shit.
it
She
looks
doesn't
so
have her
much like Sigourney
memories.
Weaver.
And it sounds like her. Maybe it's just like it's her, but she doesn't have like the memories. But that
But she
would-
also,
what's the
my point is,
I
this also
guess?
explains her magic Awa powers that she uses throughout the movie.
Yeah.
My
True.
point being, this was set up more in the original than I think anyone remembers who hasn't seen it.
I
just
do
wanted to-
though. I don't know if it was just a passing joke / allusion to like how did it happen, but I did feel like they were like hinting at like who's the father when they were
I
like,
think they
oh, it was
were.
probably that guy in the lab. I feel like that made me
No,
think.
actually,
like,
it can't be the guy in the lab because there's a deleted scene in Avatar 1 of the guy in the lab fucking the military lady from the first one. I don't know if you remember, played by Michelle Rodriguez.
Oh yeah, he couldn't have had sex with multiple people.
What? Wait,
No, I'm
what?
just what I'm trying to say, Jeff, is they had a romance. I don't think he would have. I don't think that would make sense with how.
but someone else might have. Well, also remember
Or it
when
was
she's
cinematic.
having the vision, and she's talking to Sigourney Weaver. She's about
Yes.
to find out what happened. Like, doesn't she ask like who her
is my
father is?
Yeah,
And
but
then
that's
she's
the big
like
reveal more.
dramatically like, "Oh fuck," and get out of here. And then like,
But that's why I agree with you. They definitely set it up that way. I think the big reveal is supposed to be there isn't a father in that.
I think that's. I'd say it's definitely the most likely. I want to just put it out there. All right, in case it happens, I think there's a small chance that like something fucked up happened leading to this like creation, but like I forget the name already. The like spirit of the planet was like, this was really fucked up, but now you are like endowed with like special power to like prevent.
Maybe.
I have no idea what my theory really is.
Like
Well,
a
we
Kill
also
Bill
know-
thing. Like when you know what I'm talking.
Yeah. Well.
Separately,
also,
I don't want to derail this. I just want to go
No,
back
it's
to
fine.
something you said at the start of this tangent about like the kids taking the focus
Yes,
in general.
please.
Is like outside of her character, I think they give that enough time, and there's like obviously something there that they're gonna get to, right? Like,
mhm.
I feel like the other characters, though, the other kids, not the other characters, not all of them. It feels kind of just like I wouldn't say like half baked. I wouldn't say like it's not like they didn't have an idea. It just felt okay. For example, like Spider, if we're considering him one of the kids, which I think he is, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like they give him a focus in the movie, but like most of the time, it's just like cut to him doing something that progresses the plot with his dad. Cut back, like also the son who dies. It's kind of the same thing. He is just there as like a foil to his other brother. And then that brother is kind of like also not super like developed as a character. Like they touch on him, trying to live up to the expectations, and he has this bond. I just feel like none of it was bad, but I feel like they should have given it almost more time because there's definitely like interesting dynamics. Like his brother is like taking the blame for him, trying to cover him. He feels like a disappointment. Spider is like kind of one of them, but not. But then somewhere in the plot, not that the plot is bad, it just kind of gets mixed up and it feels like they don't spend enough time on it,
Yeah.
on some of it. really like fully getting me
agree.
invested. I still care about the characters when it comes time to like kill the humans and save the kids. It's like, okay, this is hype. I'm here for it. But I'm also like, you know, the place where Spider ends with his dad or whatever. It's kind of like I didn't see enough between him and his dad besides plot progression to really sell me that he's torn here. Like, it makes sense. I can assume, obviously, you know, but I wish there was just more screen time of that. You know what I mean?
I think it's a valid criticism. I think that while I liked a lot of what you just mentioned from a writing perspective, I definitely think there could have been more of it to solidify it. Well, at the same time, again, like you said, I got enough of everything where I felt something at the end when everything was at, you know, the stakes were high. You know, I liked at the end when Jake Sully's like finally to his son, he's like, "I see you," which is obviously their catchphrase, but he's also saying that I see you. You know, I like that. It worked for me. Very emotional. I liked it, and of course, I told you when we walked out of the theater, I kind of liked the, you know, people were saying, "Why did Spider save Cortridge?" I liked the parallels of Spider and Jake Sully's son saving their fathers, you know, and I like how that just on a basic writing level works, and I think it'll make for an interesting, you know, setup for the next movie too. That said, we need to cut really quick so Evan can go to bed. Evan's gonna hop off.
Yeah, true.
And yes, so I'm gonna hit stop. Go, and we're back. Evan's gone. We're back. So, Jeff, you mentioned something we should talk about, which I think was that. How did the general find Jake Sully? Am I correct? You wanted to touch on this?
Yes, it's actually something that I was more curious about. I forget exactly what were the circumstances that led up to that, because I know it was something regarding was it the actual exodus of them?
Okay, so I'll tell you what it was. We gotta start with, first of all, leading up to this, I wanted to talk about. I thought it was a cool little parallel how the general had to train his own Ekron, you know, the flying things, the way that Jake Sully did. Like, first he was just gonna fucking like subdue them with force / shoot them possibly, and then Spider's like, wow, big pussy.
Even 3-year-olds can do this.
Yeah. Big, yeah. And he's like, Jake Sully did it the hard way. He's like, yep. It's like, all right, I'll do it, and then he does it. I like that kind of parallel. But anyway, right after that, Sigourney Weaver has a seizure. Remember that? She plugs into the world tree, and
which is now like an enemy.
An eminent.
Yeah. So for the water
an
people,
enemy?
It's kind of like a, I guess, an enemy.
It's underwater. She's holding her breath, and she's having a seizure.
Yes, not a good combo. So, you know, they're trying to heal her. Nothing's working. So Jake calls the humans, Norm, the good humans, Norm and the other scientist, and they come do some scans on her. They're like, yeah, she's having a whatever. There's some very technical term. They're like, don't let her plug into the world tree again, okay? Luckily, she never does for the movie. I'm sure it'll come up later in the movies, but not in this movie. Anyway, when Norm and the guy flew out there, that pinged on the radar of the general, and they're like, General, there's a RCA craft that was flying over this region of the ocean, and he's able to use that to determine a very general area of where Jake Sully is. That's when he starts to interrogate different water tribes as to where Jake Sully is.
It was like Truman's March to the Sea, almost. Just absolutely causing devastation. And just...
Well, he was gonna kill a lot of them. Then Spider's like, I think in one of the few moments, Darian said, I think rightly said that there should have been more of it to show the father-son thing. But in one of the few moments, Spider pleading for Quaritch to be more humane, and to not, torture and kill people, trying to get this information. Anyway, to answer your question, that's how he knows. So
now
yeah.
we got Quaritch on the path, and meanwhile we're just dealing with seeing how these, tree Nabi work with the sea Nabi, and it's very interesting because they focus in specifically on the two children of Kiri, who we've already discussed a bit, as well as the middle son, which I don't quite remember what his name is.
Lowak. Yes.
No way. What's the oldest son's name?
Let me tell you.
I just feel like their names are
Natam.
never said.
Natam.
Oh,
That one actually was said quite a bit.
Yeah. Natam. You're the older brother.
Yeah.
Which Lowak is a character that I think has the biggest impact on the overall story.
Yeah.
Because ever since the beginning, first we start off with the scenes where the Na'vi are fighting back once the Sky people have come back. And, Lowak has no interest in following his father's orders at all.
Right.
Nearly
He's like a mini Jake Sully, basically. Because, Jake Sully also doesn't follow orders, infamously, in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
My point is, Lowak is a clear... It's a... I think... I don't want to say stereotypical, but it's like a common trope with father-son relationships, I think, in media, where it's like the father, before their father acts a certain way, then they have a son who acts the same way, and it's like, why are you doing that? I'm the father. You gotta listen to me. It's like he's just being you, There you go. Circle of sites, yeah. But yeah. So Skyla was not wondering, sorry, you were talking about the finger scene, right?
Oh my god.
Well, we're talking about while we're talking about Lowak, I just wanted to touch on that. So the scene in question is when some of the other water kids are bullying Lowak for having a thin tail and looking different.
There's 2 scenes in which this is brought up in a funny way. That's the second one. Remember the first one when they're first being abducted?
When they're like, oh, you call that a tail? And they're like hitting his tail.
No, the first scene when the kids are like taken by the army and they're like, show me your hands. And he flips off the guy.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So he flips him off then. And then in this scene, he's like, yeah, I'm a freak. Look at all my fingers. Look at this. And look, something weird happens when I do this. And then
punches him in the face.
Yeah.
It's pretty epic.
Yes.
No, but Lowak is definitely Jake Sully Jr.
100%. And I think Natam is Nateri Jr. Which I think is the correct way to say it, now that I'm remembering.
Because he's mature and knows what he's doing.
He's mature. He's in tune with the traditions of the people. People meaning the Na'vi, not the humans. But yeah. Okay, so unless you guys have any other things to say, I guess I'll just skip towards the end of the movie.
Well, it's very important to bring in how the whales fit in with Lowak specifically, because Lowak is there, and the whole scene with the 5 fingers, he's supposed to be, the orders from Sully, Captain Sully, Father Sully. Yes. We got to fit in with these people since they're so graciously accepting us. We are water people now.
Yes.
And Lowak refuses to do so. And this results in so many different outcomes. Him fighting the chief's son. The chief's son getting back at him by taking them out. And how he originally meets the whale with them leading him out for the hunting venture and trying to abandon him there.
Yeah, to be killed.
To be killed, yes.
It was fucked up.
Very. But
And then-
eventually, like that's
yeah.
all massive foreshadowing to take into account for the huge
Yeah.
fight scene.
And
that
on a
comes up.
thematic level, I kind of like that, where it's like his mistakes start very trivial, but his constant mistakes and flaws in his character and motivations lead to his brother's death. You know what I mean? And that's something that I feel like by the end of the movie he's learned from, and what will, very maybe on a sort of on a basic level, but in the next movie his character will have grown and learned from those experiences. It's very basic, but I like that we got to see the full arc of that. I think it was done pretty well. Yeah.
And in the next movie, they have to remain being sea people so we can further that love interest with the daughter of the tribe leaders.
Yes.
There's a romance between them. And between Spider and Sigourney Weaver, which is like a little weird.
Yeah, because Spider's like 10, and also I just dislike the way that he's a child, just bare-assed throughout the whole movie. I thought it was a little upsetting.
I definitely think in one of the future movies, Spider will be getting an avatar.
Oh,
I think
would
he's
hopefully
gonna,
in the next one.
especially
Probably.
if he's going to be bare-assed.
Well, let's think. I mean, if he's like max 12 in this movie, and they're gonna be, he's probably gonna be like 18 or so. I don't know how much time they're gonna skip, but he will be a young adult in the next movie. So, yeah, probably will be the next movie actually. What do you guys think of the scene where, in the end, so the whales, I guess we should mention, targeted by poachers. The one whale fought back, so he became an outcast. When he did fight back, though, he lost one of his fins. But in the end of the movie, when he comes in and saves the Sullys in a very tense moment, he also gets revenge on the poacher by ripping off one of his arms.
I didn't even make that parallel. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's just classic. It's good old eye for an eye. Pretty raw scene too. I liked it. But yeah, any other thoughts? Feel free to jump in.
Oh yeah, and that whole scene is set up originally because of how the commander is coming over to try to find Sully, and now the commander's taken over the poacher ship in order to do this, and so as a
Yes.
result, they're just starting to take out the whales, and
True. Just to
then-
lure them out.
so then Sully implores the chief that they need to warn the whales, get them to get out of there. And so then Lawak goes on to go find this whale that he's befriended. And that sets up this whole scene because the poachers find him. And they have to
Right, they
call
find all
back.
the kids. Yep.
The kids call back, and then that's what brings out
Yeah.
all of the Navi to meet with all of the poachers and all of those sky people that are there to fight them, / the sky people avatar that are there to fight them.
And I think this whole last act of the movie, for me personally, I really enjoyed it because of the very long runtime and all the time that we spent with the kids. It made the stakes feel real. I didn't think I would, but I cared about the family. Going in, I did not think I'd give a shit. And I cared about the family. I cared about what was going to happen to them, and I ended up really loving the antagonist relationship between Quaritch and Jake Sully. It was very very tense, very high octane final fight. I just really like it. And, I mean, it's stupid, obviously. Maybe it sounds stupid. And we were talking about it's like, oh, the general's back. Oh, he's still alive at the end of this one. I kind of like this, not a very good comparison, but Batman Joker sort of thing, where it's like they're just constantly going to be fighting each other on this planet. You know what I mean? I kind of like that aspect of it. Cortridge is a really awesome character, I think.
It definitely has the Joker, the last laugh sense that you just feel like right before the end. We're always going to be fighting. But I like.
Well, he tells him too. He's like, because originally they weren't going to have that knife fight when the whole ship is sinking and turns upside down. Titanic moment. James Cameron, anybody?
Yeah, true.
But he tells him, he's like, because they're just going to escape. Because everyone's accounted for. And they're right about to Jake Sully's about to leave, and he's like, "Oh, you're just gonna leave me here, Jake? You know, I'll never stop. I'll never stop hunting your family. I'll just keep coming back again and again." I mean, literally, it's Joker tier. And then Jake's like, obviously, that angers Jake, and they fight. My point being, he literally said that, so I think that is definitely the case. But if Cortris is the Joker, who is his Harley Quinn?
Sigourney Weaver.
Holy shit. You think Kiri's gonna defect?
No, I think the connection between Kiri and Spider is because the Colonel and Sigourney Weaver, whatever her character's name
Wouldn't that
is.
make that incest?
I'm not saying their connection is romantic, but they have a connection.
In the
Yeah,
first
but
movie,
that's why
they
they
hate
don't
him.
know.
In the first movie,
It's like Luke.
I don't want them to get together because you know what? He's a human and she's an avatar, and it's wrong.
also,
Wait.
Darian, the Luke and Leia thing was unintentional. It's because George Lucas didn't know the story. He didn't know what it was going to be.
James Cameron didn't know either.
But also, just
I think James Cameron knows more than George Lucas. I think Peter. Anyway, we'll get. Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
But does the general know that Kiri is Sigourney Weaver's child?
No.
He can't.
Unless it was
There's
cut
no
from the
way.
movie.
Okay.
He can't because he died before she ever had the child.
True. His last memory of Sigourney Weaver is her dying.
Yeah, true.
So
I don't think-
is that
Also,
him
another
killing
thing.
her?
I don't think anybody knows actually, besides
Yeah.
Jake Sully's family, what Kiri's true nature
Well,
is.
And the obviously like the people that were there.
Does the tribe know?
Well, the tribe.
I feel like maybe
the
he
tribe-
said they kept it a secret. I don't remember.
That's true, but the people that worked in the facility definitely knew.
Yeah.
Right? They had to have.
Yeah.
Oh, Norm and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, yeah. But yeah.
Just a separate tidbit that I would like to bring up because it was a cool scene so Spider's being held captive by the Colonel, I don't know, on the boat entering the final act, and he sees like the kids on the ship and he realizes like they're gonna go and kill them. So, or the kids on, I don't know what he sees. I don't really remember exactly what happens, but he's like, fuck, and he just starts destroying the ship and like grabbing things and beating people over the head with them. He's going ballistic. He's like,
Fire extinguisher.
he doesn't care if he fucking dies.
It's a fire extinguisher, which makes it even more insane because if you think about it, it's like compressed. It's compressed fluid, like, and it is just in a metal cylinder, and he's bashing people.
Definitely
over
put the pilot in the ICU. The pilot is not recovering.
No chance. I thought the funniest.
And then they're just like, and then later on they just care for him, right? Because the ship is sinking. They're like,
yeah, they're just moving.
Gotta go, kid. Which I guess I said was like maybe it's because they know it's the general's son or whatever.
And also, just because the natural thing, it's like, oh, he looks like one of us.
Yeah, true.
Therefore, he is one of us. I love how he got away with breaking so much before they even tried to stop him.
Yeah.
Like, he destroyed the entire ship before they stopped him.
Yeah.
Just got all those people killed.
Yeah. Spider's awesome.
I don't know if it's like CGI, they couldn't afford it, but we were noting after we walked out of the movie, all of us, how we didn't really see a lot of Avatar people die. It was mostly humans, if not all humans.
Right, I think only Jake Sully's son dies, right?
Fucked up. The only one to die has to be his son.
There you go.
Well, no, you see, I don't know if you see it like explicitly, but you see like the people die. You see some, like you obviously see the dude
When
that
the
gets
ship lands.
arm.
That's a human, though.
Yeah, I'm saying the humans. Like, you see the guy who gets his arm ripped off and then flung off into the
Yeah, the humans can die willy-nilly. They're
Say the
fine.
Na'vi.
We see a
Oh,
lot
the
of them
Na'vi.
die on screen.
That's true.
The Na'vi do die off screen when the humans land, the big thrusters at the beginning.
But did they? Or was that just an uncivilized place, or did it just kill the animals?
To be fair, I'm just assuming that
I
there
mean,
would
they
be.
showed a bunch of animals running, but they didn't show a single person. No one seemed to
Interesting. Is there
mourn
some
the
sort of-
loss of that.
Is it like if they show too many Na'vi dying, it becomes rated R or something because they're Na'vi? Or like, you know what I mean? Is it like
Yeah,
James
it's okay
Cameron
if the
just doesn't
humans
want to
die.
kill them off.
It's okay if the bad people die. You can't see the good people.
well,
die.
next movie we're getting bad Na'vi with the Ash people. So
Imagine those CGI deaths.
we've seen them.
Oh, you know why they don't have it? It's because it's performance enhancer, so the actors would have to actually die on screen. I should have
Alright.
thought about that sooner.
No.
Either that or just simply there wasn't enough time, so they had to exclusively just cut it.
They had to cut it.
They had to cut
Man, I really wish I knew what they cut so that we wouldn't have to keep doing this joke because I do feel like it was a lot of this, but it's just always going to be a joke now.
So at the end of this fight scene, after the Navi come in and they just fuck shit up and kill a whole bunch of these sky people, kill the poachers, the whale gets revenge and is huge and is the whole catalyst for them to even make this fight. Then we get to the brutal scene, the very heart-touching scene that I didn't think would be heart-touching because obviously I saw the foreshadowing coming from that very first scene with I forget his name already again.
Lawak?
No, Lawak's older brother,
Tam.
in a feat of saving Lawak, who's gone in over his head to try to save Spider, winds up getting shot and dies. What does everyone
He was
think?
shot?
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
shot.
I think, like I said before, just in general with the whole family, I think it was more emotional than I thought it would be. I think I felt something, especially after all the fight is over at the end, and those last few scenes where Jake Sully and Nateri plug into the world tree, and they're fucking living in the flashback of him as a kid. That shit goes hard.
They're also wearing they're in mourning makeup, they're wearing black and
it's right after his
it's
funeral.
only them down there. Yeah,
that funeral too.
That's
Yeah, no,
really
I think the ending is really, really good.
Yeah,
really emotional. But yeah,
no, absolutely, absolutely. It was surprising how much you wind up caring for these characters.
Yeah.
Because along the whole time I wasn't expecting to, because it just seems like they're going about their business. They're transforming to this new life. They get into this fight, and just to I think it's an excellent part on the actors because they do a tremendous performance, and then on top of that, the CGI to actually have that be translated so it feels so real. That moment when they're around Tam and he's sitting there dying, and the whole family is there and have to witness that. It was brutal.
Yeah. I think that just to I guess wrap up with my thoughts, unless we have any specific ideas in terms of this movie. I think it's entertaining to boot. There's some really high tension parts. There's some parts that maybe some consider boring, but I think really strengthen the characters and their growth. And there are some really emotional parts too. Overall, what I'm trying to say is I think this is all the elements of why I think it's a great movie. Especially as I've kind of been sitting and stewing with it, especially after I rewatched the first movie, which was also great. And I wish I'd given it a chance sooner. Not after 10 years, but here we are. And suffice to say, I am very, very excited for what's to come next. And given the opportunity, if I get it, I don't know if I will, probably won't. But if I do, I do want to rewatch this movie. And I think its success is warranted, and I didn't believe him before, but I guess never doubt James Cameron is right because he's delivering. Even if you didn't like the movie, he's 1.5 billion. I mean, what can you say?
Holy shit.
So, any other thoughts?
It's pretty insane.
Honestly, the
Insane
more
amount
that
of money.
yeah, no, that's ridiculous. No, but the more that we talked about it, the more that I've come to realize like all these different aspects of the movie that I absorbed and didn't fully recognize until we started hashing it out. And it's definitely like just after this conversation, I put it at a much higher level than I had before. I
Mhm.
think that, and especially with more context from the movie, that since I hadn't seen it in so long, just the context that you brought along with it throughout this conversation has made me want to rewatch the first one, as well as
Yes.
give a lot more credit to the actual film that exists in this one.
Yeah. Darian or Skyla, any thoughts?
I mean,
You first.
I'm interested in the third one. This one definitely like impressed me, exceeded my expectations, made me care. So I don't know. I don't think it was like by any means one of my favorite movies that I've seen this year. I don't think it like really holds a candle personally to things like Batman.
It can't.
That's good.
But I mean, for like what it is, being like an original property that I haven't seen in a long time, and like, I'm gonna stick by this. I don't really have a good reason to give a fuck about the movie or its characters, right? Even if the first one was good, it's been so long. Like, if you don't go out of your way to rewatch it, and you haven't been a fan and like remembering all of this stuff, there's no other media to follow. Like, it's really hard to like give a case for why someone should be invested. You know what I mean? So I'll stick by that. Like, I
Yeah.
don't really have a reason to be invested, but like by the end of the movie, I was, surprisingly, and like it also does look nice visually.
Yeah.
I would say there is media to follow, as I have watched a 3-hour deep dive into the Avatar portion of the Disney World theme park, and everything that went into it on my own time, willingly, and it was awesome. Highly recommend Jenny Nicholson on YouTube if you've ever heard of her. She's a theme park enthusiast. She's really good, thorough. Um, Yeah. My thoughts on Avatar 2 are it looked really good, which I can now appreciate. I really, really liked the world building. It made me feel like I want to see more content just on Pandora about like anything I feel like I would watch. Not be like super into it, but I would watch it because it's like I don't know, like how the people interact with the unique nature. It was really cool, and I like the colors. I like little colors, like the dragon things. The turquoise on them is so nice. The water avatar, I love their design. So much better than the dark blue avatar. They've got like these built-in tattoos on their bodies, which are really cool looking. They're all a little stockier too, which I enjoy. I don't know.
Mhm.
Plot-wise, it was good. A little messy, but I don't really care. I'm easy to please, so that's my thoughts.
Yeah. Respect.
Thank you.
And Darian mentioned that kind of there's no other media to follow, and I was thinking about that really, and I think that that's one of the reasons why. Okay, well, actually, um,
Even
well,
though
actually,
Skylar
Darian,
contradicts it.
there's a comic that Darian, did you know that James Cameron wrote a 100-page script of Avatar 1.5 given only to the actors that tells what happens between Avatar 1
Is
and
this
2?
real?
Yes, this is real,
This is
so that they would
insane.
know. And they
I
eventually
didn't
turned
know
that. They turned that into a comic that is ongoing right now. Did you know that? You didn't know that?
No.
That's
So
cool.
get fucked. There is media to follow. No, my real point.
What?
My real point was, I think that's why it's so successful is because with the MCU, Star Wars, even Jurassic Park, arguably, all these huge franchises, you need to watch a lot of things to keep up with it. You need to now for Marvel, you need to be watching all the Disney Plus shows. Maybe you don't need to, but that's what they want you to, right? To keep up with what's going on in the movies, and same thing with DC, and same thing with a lot of other franchises. I think that's why this stands as a blockbuster and why it's going so well is you don't really need to see anything besides the first one. And even then, most of you didn't see the first one again and you still watched it. You know what I mean? I think that's why it appeals to so many different demographics too. You know? It's like, I mean, Evan said his grandparents saw the first one, and I mean that was just Evan, but I wonder if that, I think that'd be interesting to research. Is my guess would be if it's doing this well, it appeals to a lot of different demographics too. That's my point. So I think that it's a double-edged sword as far as what you're mentioning on that part, Darian. But yeah. So Avatar 3. Predictions, hopes. Just go at it. I want to say, what if I think Kiri being AWOL would be funny. I mean, not funny. It'd be cool.
No, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. Or okay, does Jake Sully die in the next one?
That would be
Hope
awesome.
so.
Because now there's mini Jake Sully. So what if that's his final test? You know,
Jake Sully.
there's Luwak. Come on.
That's
So,
a great prediction. That is.
I think Jake Sully's days are numbered. Sam Worthington is out.
Walking out of the movie theater, I was super hyped for Avatar 3. I was like, this is going to be cool. I can see exactly how they're setting up the movie, which might be a bad thing, but whatever. But after hearing that there's going to be fire avatars, I am now very suspicious of it, and I feel uneasy.
Well, did you know the tentative titles for the next movies have been announced already?
No.
They're not locked in, but they have been. James Cameron said that these were his working titles. They're not locked in, but they're the working titles. So the next one is called Avatar: The Seed Bearer.
Nope, no.
What? No, you guys have dirty minds, okay?
That literally sounds like it's got to be the next Messiah. Like it's got to be
the bearer. Come on, Brad.
And the one after Avatar 4 is called Avatar: The Tulkun Rider.
No.
So we're going back to the water.
Rider?
Yeah, what?
Back to the forest, right? Oh wait, no, it's the whales.
The whale.
Yeah, sorry. Back to the water, I guess. And then
the seed bearer, the Tulkun Rider. Bro, James Cameron is...
Dude, this guy's... Yeah.
The guy's a
right,
freak.
And then Avatar... and then Avatar 5. Avatar: The Quest for Awa.
Okay, that's a good title. The other one's bad.
Okay, well, to be again, they're. I don't think.
Well, you should tell him, Nabil, that he should drop those other ones.
I do
James
not think
Cameron
that
listens to the Filmatic podcast, right?
even if he wanted to, for some reason, I don't think the studio would be able to market the Seed Bearer really well. I don't think that's going to be called. But the Quest for Awa is good. Tulkun Rider is a pretty good name, even if it doesn't.
Sounds
make sense.
cool.
That sounds like a solo movie spin-off type thing.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, like, if I've seen Avatar 2, I don't know if I'm enticed by, like, okay, we're some guys, like, riding one of these... I don't...
But you're not supposed to be enticed for that next. You're supposed to be enticed for that after the next one. So
True.
Who are you to say anything, asshole?
I will say the implications of the seed bearer in connection with fire, which is the only thing I'm going off of in my knowledge for the third movie, is what they're like going to scorch Earth, and then the soil's going to be suspecting it works like it works on Earth. The soil will be better suited for crops. Is that
okay?
Huh?
That's pretty good. That's a pretty good guess. That's a pretty good guess.
Honestly,
I don't think that's interesting at all.
Or it's following these evil Navi who are working alongside the humans to get rid of all the other Navi, and then it's following the family, and Kiri is the seed bearer, meant to restore balance. Not a other Avatar reference, but meant to
Fire Nation.
save the planet.
Okay.
That makes sense. I just really hope they don't mean
Like
seed in
call-
that kind of way at all.
I just don't like hearing
Bearer. Like the word bearer.
seed bearer. It just feels
Seed
fucked
queen.
up, dude. Something I don't know. I'm sorry. All right, I know it's like I'm taking it the wrong way moment. I'll accept that, but it's just I can't get that out of my mind. It just sounds weird.
Mm.
I'd rather hear like something about like life, like why?
What if the seed bearer? Okay, so we don't know who Kiri's father is. Her father.
Oh my
if
God.
it's a
seed bearer.
I'm just saying. No, I'm not even making it. It's funny, but what if that's actually the point?
I mean, dude, that's what was on my mind. Hence
Kiri
my
is
Yeah,
the
well,
seed.
it's like instead of saying the father, the seed bearer seems like something he would do.
Jesus Christ.
Definitely
What is this,
sounds
Navi speak?
Navi.
Is that what they say? The seed
That-
bear? I doubt it.
That
Who's
sounds
your
Navi.
seed bearer?
Come
Bet it's
on,
that scientist
that
guy.
definitely sounds Navi.
Tulkun
Well,
Rider.
bearer, okay, there's two different definitions of bearer, though. Like the one who bore it or the one who's bearing it. You know what I mean?
No.
Like
okay.
currently
I'll
have
forget it.
all
I'll
the
forget
terms-
it.
No. I know what you're saying. Like bearing pain, or bearing bearing gifts, right? Like
Yeah.
yeah,
The
right.
one
okay.
who gets pregnant and the one who has the sperm is what I'm trying to say.
Right. So
The seed, if you will.
the
Do you think there's a connection to the next movie?
bearer. The one who's
I'm just trying to say the seed bearer could be Sigourney Weaver herself. It might not be a focus on the father.
Yeah, no,
Because
No,
she's
I don't-
AWA.
wait.
he's one with Awa.
Well, who's riding the Tulku? That's what I
The
want
quest
to
the
know.
quest for Awa is like the best title in this. Like just
Yeah.
Easily.
out of process of elimination. Like
How come the quest starts in number 5? It's not like an ongoing thing.
well,
throughout?
5 is
That'd
when
be
they're
a
going.
great, like,
5 is
subplot
when they're
throughout.
going to Earth, or not going to Earth. 5 they're gonna show Earth in some capacity.
Oh, they're gonna find AWA on Earth? I'm sure.
Awa's and everybody. Awa was with us the
Yahweh.
whole way, bro.
Quest for Yahweh.
Kanye West will be.
It's not funny.
The
It's not
quest
fun.
for Allah.
Is Yahweh a specific denomination? I thought that was just like ancient word for
That's
God.
no, that's Jewish.
My bad.
Jehovah's the official name of God for. Technically, it should be for all Christians, but it isn't.
Whoa.
But Yahweh is the original Jewish, and then Allah is
Allah's what, Jeff?
Muslim.
Good
What
job.
about Jesus? How does he fit into the whole equation? Yeah. The
I think
son
Jesus
of
is gonna
Yahweh.
be an Avatar 3.
Maybe Neri. What is
Kiri.
Yes. Mixing all the names together. Kiri basically is Jesus, right? She's
Yeah,
like the
so she was
immaculate
born
conception
out
of
of
Honestly,
Yahweh.
yes.
and she can
Wait,
perform
do-
miracles.
does
Why
She
do we
does a
need
lot
a
of.
religious analogy, though? That's my question.
Does
Well,
Kiri
maybe
get
we're just perceiving it that
crucified?
way. It's not meant to be perceived as.
I don't know, man.
Religion.
The way James Cameron talks about culture and humanity,
Does does the seed bearer mean that
No.
Kiri is the seed and she is born when she's crucified and starts the Navi
True.
Christianity?
Oh my
you think
god!
we're gonna
Hello?
see a crusade on Earth?
They hit the Pentagon.
That's the
Okay.
sound. It's the sound that plays when they hit the Pentagon.
Listen,
This is
listen.
the filmatic after hours portion. This
we
is
all every filmatic is filmatic after hours. So we all know that in Avatar 1, humans get in a machine to become Navi. What if there's a machine for Navi to get into to become humans in Avatar
why would you
5?
do that?
I like
Why
that.
would you do that?
because
In Avatar,
They're
they
sexier
go
when they're
they
blue,
get
I'm
into a
just saying.
machine. They get into a machine and they fly it into a place.
what if there's a machine
You
that can
uh,
seat about 100 people?
listen.
Okay.
Listen. You want
We
to be
get-
weaker?
What if there's a machine that can fly people?
Okay.
Bro, but why would you want to become human? You
Well,
want
you know
to
in
become
Avatar 1.
smaller,
Sorry, go ahead.
weaker, not fit. Like
But that's the big twist is like I don't know why they, he has
you
to
want
come
to
up with
get
it.
fat?
But no, it's like that's the only way to inhabit Earth, I guess, right? Because they probably can't breathe on Earth.
Not
Right?
true.
I don't know.
That's a good point.
The
I
Navi
will
can
really
live in
miss
the-
seeing them blue, though. I think they're really pretty.
True. I like all the
They're nice
glow in
and
the dark,
long.
like dots on their faces.
They are long.
That's always so cool looking. The dots inside the whale, that was cool.
So
And
what
the
did you?
cocoon.
Can you kind of tell listeners, Skyla, like I don't obviously not everything because you said you watched 3 hours of it, but any cool bits of the Avatar Disney stuff because I know nothing about that.
Well, as with all like subdivisions in the Disney theme park, you have to build it in such a way, and I just found this really interesting, that you can't see any other parts of the theme park as to ruin the illusion and immersion of the subdivision you're in. And because there's like floating islands, they had to like build it really like kind of deep in the ground to like not let other parts of the park see the floating islands. So it's like really intensive. They also do like I don't know, I think there's like one ride. It's not like a roller coaster, it's like one of those like you're sitting in a car and it's like you're surrounded by screens kind of
It's
ride.
a Disney ride.
Actually, I did hear about that. I heard it was pretty good.
Yeah. I heard it was good. They have a lot of immersive things scattered around the little subdivision that like you can kind of interact with, not to the degree of like Harry Potter of like wands. You just like if you're walking by at the right moment, you can like see it move or something like that. Just like little creatures and whatnot, like rustling in the bushes. One thing though is it's all based on Avatar 1 because it came out like a few years ago. Right. So I don't know what they're gonna do now.
Oh, they should update it. Make a fucking like water park or something.
It sounds like it was kind of like after its opening and the hype died down, I think they were supposed to have, like maybe this is because COVID. Actually,
true.
I can't remember when I was watching this, but they're supposed to have like human actors in like stunt suits. I think because they're super tall, so they had to have like
to wear stilts or whatever.
Stilts. That's what I'm talking about. Stilts. They also spent a lot of money on really high quality scale to how tall the Navi are animatronics. And I think they could only afford like one or two of them.
Holy shit.
Anyways, that's all I really remember.
That's pretty cool. I feel like I'd be interested to check it out. Wouldn't be in my top 3 choices of theme parks to go to, but
yeah, they have the Avatar ears. You know how you can get Mickey ears? They have the Avatar ears.
So just little cat ears, basically, because that's what they are.
Just pretty much blue cat ears. Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I guess that's.
Well, what'd you learn about the comic?
Actually,
did you read it?
I was meaning to read it. I did not. I forgot about it and did not read
For
it.
the
I'm going
past
to though.
10 years. I've been meaning to read it for the past decade.
No, it only came out recently. But it's still actually. I think it's ongoing. There's still some issues. I think it's Dark Horse Comics is the company.
Like the Katy Perry song.
I think it'd be interesting to find out what happened. Little adventures between 1 and 2. How many kids do they have? 3 plus Sigourney. So that's at least 2 more tree sex scenes that could be in the comics.
True.
Just improving here. I guess last call. Any thoughts about anything relating to this?
This is really out there, but the Avatar people in general are all just modeled after black people, and I don't know how that's supposed to make me feel. You all can tell this. The dreadlocks, the black hair, their noses are wider. You know what I'm talking about.
I noticed the dreadlocks, but like
They're also
not
saying "cuz," which I don't know what that's about either,
Okay,
because
that
Jake
was
Sully
weird.
wasn't
No,
saying that in the first movie.
yeah, I don't know where that came from.
Well, I definitely think there's supposed to be like some kind of racial allegory between humans and
Minority,
Avatar.
Native American
Yeah,
sort of thing. Yeah.
but they don't present them as like natives. I don't
The
feel
first
like.
one they definitely do. I will say, having rewatched it,
It feels like in this movie though. I guess they don't really show a lot of the Na'vi culture. It's just Jake's family and then the new group of water
so maybe the
Avatar.
new ones are supposed to be more modeled after African Americans. The tree people are like
They
kind
just
of
don't
Native
do
Americans,
much tribal shit. They're kind of just like.
and the fire people are going to be Eastern European.
Maybe I was off base for that. You tell me so if I was, but that's I just
No, I mean
started
it's a
getting that
good
vibe in the
guess.
movie, and I was like,
No,
I
it's
don't know
a.
what this.
I'm sure they modeled it after something, so it's a good guess.
I mean, I don't know, not to get too deep into this, but it does feel like there's kind of like a direct like metaphor allegory or whatever to like, oh, the humans want to be like these like people that they look down on, but they want to be them like physically. It's like a fucking like Get Out type shit where
Yeah.
it's like I feel like they kind of allude to that where it's like they hate them, but like they do like acknowledge the benefits of their like body or some shit, you know. In
That's
the
a good
first one.
point,
I don't really
actually.
remember the first one. I don't know how deep.
No,
it
you're
goes,
right.
but
Now that you say that, I'm kind of picking that up, remembering from the first one.
the
They
problem
definitely
though is if that is intentional, it doesn't really make sense because in the real world there are not actual physical benefits to being one race or the other, and James Cameron
No.
would be playing into like some
Well,
kind
I
of
don't. That's why
weird.
I think it's bad to read too far into it because in the end they
Yeah,
are literally aliens. So
yeah, that's true.
you know what I mean.
Fair.
But I agree. They're definitely based on I think a multi. Just cut it right there. The clip right there.
A little keks, a little jocks.
But yeah, I think they're definitely based on a swirl of minority sort of inspirations.
Also, are any of the sky people not white? I only remember
I
white
don't think
people
just
in the
calling
movie.
humans the sky people is awesome. I love it.
I don't know.
Sorry, what'd you say? Are they all white?
Yeah, I don't
Is that your
remember
question?
any non-white.
Michelle Rodriguez in the first movie.
Oh,
Obviously,
that's
is
true.
Latina.
That's true. I don't remember
Um,
one in this movie though.
I don't remember one black person. There's a brown scientist, Indian scientist.
Okay.
That's a win. That's a real win.
Why'd you look at me when you said that?
Bro, you know James Cameron is the type of
Anyone
person
catch
to
that?
be
Did anyone
like.
catch that? Skyla said that's a win and looked straight into my eyes. I know it's weird because she's staring at one camera and there's only one camera on her. Anyway. You think, Aaron?
I feel like James Cameron, like, you know, knowing Terminator, like, okay, let me just put this out here. Okay, you watch the first Terminator, it is what it is. Then you go to the second Terminator, even halfway through the first one, whatever. My point is, like, it goes from, like, this thriller, sci-fi, whoa, the Terminator, to, like, guys, there's actually, like, this insane story where there's, like, a time loop of, like, this guy fucking this girl so she can, like, have her son who is his father. And like there was actually like an entire, you know, thing going on with the machines and Skynet. Like
Skynet Morty. Yeah.
it's like James Cameron like flips the script on you, but he's not flipping the script. He's just like, actually, it's way bigger, guys. I feel like by the time we get to Earth, it's not going to just be like, oh, they destroyed Earth. These silly humans. They're so resource using. You know, what the fuck is wrong with them? They milked the Earth, and now they're doing it to this place. I feel like it's going to be something, like, crazier, dude. Like, you know, what if they go to Earth and it's, like, they actually just, like, genocided each other or some shit.
I think that'll be cooler. I think that anything like that would be cooler than just humans are killing the Earth.
Yeah, I think
it will be like that.
My point being, there's no diversity in the people in space. On us, I'm not saying they're all dead. Okay, I know I use the word.
Wait, that's
like, what if it's like, you know,
there's only white people? Holy shit!
Because there is definitely like themes outside of the ecological shit. There's themes of like, oh, these people are different, even between the Na'vi and the water people. You know, like, all like I
savages
don't
who
know.
squat in the mud or whatever. I think in the first.
Yeah,
one.
James Cameron's definitely like, I don't know. He's obviously trying to make like a commentary on the state of the world. I think it's like there's division culturally, and then like we're also destroying the planet.
Yeah.
I feel like that would all be really relevant. I mean, if he's going to show us Earth, it has to be like some fucked up future, right? Like, he likes doing that.
I think that's a really smart idea that now that you're saying it, seems like something you definitely would do. For sure. Yeah. It's really interesting.
What if Earth has become like factional, dude? They're no better than Pandora, you know?
Holy shit. There's fire humans and water humans. And
No.
What is
they just redo everything.
James Cameron makes a cameo as leader of the water humans.
They go to Earth. They're like, this guy James Cameron, who's been artificially kept alive. He like discovered the secret of the ocean. That'd be awesome. I think they'll put Titanic in the.
Maybe
they go to Earth. They watch a James Cameron movie. They make a joke about it.
What is this, Deadpool now?
I don't fucking know, dude.
You think Deadpool's gonna make fun of Avatar, the next Deadpool movie, man?
It's a
Disney property, you know.
I say 75% chance, but actually, since it's a Disney property, they don't want to shit on it too much.
But Deadpool's entire thing is shitting on other properties.
Well, that's why Deadpool's probably going to get neutered by Disney, dude. I don't know.
Maybe. I think so.
He's going to reference a lot of shit, but I don't know how far they're going to let him go with, like, degrading the quality of their other movies.
I think this is a rare scenario where it's not profitable to neuter Deadpool. So they won't do it. Are they going to learn
that the hard way, though?
No. I think they're much smarter than we give them credit for.
I hope.
That's why they've come out already and said, it's going to be rated R, it's going to be rated R, it's going to be rated R. Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor, we have a problem. Conductor.
I mean, I don't know, dude. A lot of movies were going to be rated R, though, remember?
I'm just, I don't know.
That would be fucked. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to take away the R rating, but...
That would destroy their movie. Everyone would be pissed.
I think the best thing we have going for us is that Ryan Reynolds is just, like, not going to probably put up with bullshit.
True.
I feel like he's the type of guy that's like, I'm not going to do the movie if you guys don't let me be funny the way I want to be.
Whose kitty litter did I just shit in? He's in... Yeah. It'll be interesting to see for sure. So what's next in movies? You know, next is January and February, Ant-Man, Quantumania.
That looked kind of bad, to be honest, in the ad. I'm hyped for Mario.
There was a recent quote.
I'm hyped for Mario, but
Mario will probably be better than Ant-Man. But there's a recent quote from Peyton Reed, who's the director of Ant-Man. Darian, I don't know if you saw this or we talked about it, but he was like, I'm tired of people saying my Ant-Man movies are palate cleansers for the MCU, okay? This is an Avengers level event. I just thought that was a funny...
So cringe.
I like that he acknowledged that his other ones were palate cleansers.
I don't really have high hopes for it.
Yeah.
To me, this is going to be a very weird specific thing, but I feel like you guys... I don't know. I feel like at least one of you might feel the way I'm feeling when they do the whole montage and they play the David Bowie song and it's like, whoa, the quantum realm is like, there's all these crazy characters and creatures and like it looks weird, but there's a lot of cool like visual effects choices that don't just make it look like space. It's like weird space. It feels like they're trying to like ride the Guardians of the Galaxy visual style.
100%.
So true.
It never works whenever they try.
It feels like they literally are like copy pasting it and they're trying to capture the vibe, you know, with the David Bowie song, make it all like
there's a star man.
I don't know, man. I'm not here for it. I'm not a fan.
Was it David Bowie? Beyond the Yellow Brick Road?
Oh, my bad. I
couldn't even remember the song. I was just making shit up.
Couldn't you see it though?
Yes, I could. I literally
just put in like fucking
Man on the Moon or whatever it's called.
Yeah,
Moonrise Daydream, which was in Guardians 1.
Okay. Yeah, so that's probably literally like they used a different song in the same way that another movie did, presenting like same visuals.
Yeah.
and then I feel like that's literally like an AI could tell them to do that. Like, oh, this works marketing wise. People like this, so just do that. If you don't like,
Can you imagine if these MCU movies, specifically, like, let's just talk about this since we're bringing it up. You mentioned Quantum Mania, Quantum Realm. Everything's crazy. There's crazy characters everywhere. What if these MCU movies actually had environments and worlds that were as rich and immersive as Pandora? You know what I mean? Why can't they take a cue? I'll tell you why.
I feel like the
I'll answer my own
problem
question.
it's just so random, though.
Time crunch is random. Nothing is planned, and that they're churning them out so fast, and there's no vision. It's just like quantity over quality. You know.
It just feels like Marvel is like really like, I don't know, like, okay, Guardians of the Galaxy, I feel like kind of embraced that, like, oh, it's space, like there's crazy shit, you know, like,
yeah,
okay, fine, but doing like, okay, guys, the Quantum Realm is a completely like non-cohesive place with a bunch of random shit that like doesn't make sense because it's like the multiverse, so we don't have to try to make this feel immersive because it isn't supposed to make sense. Just feels like kind of lazy. I don't know. I think it's supposed to be like, oh, this is cool and fun, but it's just not. It just feels like
not even cool and
fun. Bringing shit from like, it's like the multiverse, not like an asteroid
also,
with aliens.
I feel like there should be colors, and everything shouldn't be orange and gray. Like,
yeah,
that's a classic. But just to we could talk about that forever, I feel like. But just to round out this Marvel stuff, since we're talking about it, can I tell you guys 2 things about future Marvel movies, specifically the newer? There's going to be 2 Avengers movies that are releasing back to back one year next year, like Infinity War and Endgame. Avengers Secret War and Avengers Kang Dynasty. And
Kang Dynasty sounds so stupid, dude. I'm not gonna lie.
I have verified leaks, all right, about 3 characters that are going to be. Okay, let me break this down a little bit. I can tell you who the villain is going to be of the 2 movies, and I can tell you the 3 of the cameos in Avengers Secret Wars that are from the same leaker who leaked Toby in No Way Home.
Okay, well, Iron Man's going to be one of them, right?
Okay, yes, correct.
They're not going to jump at their fucking chance to put Iron Man back in, dude.
Yes. Can you name the other
RDJ?
2? Yes.
Yeah, by Iron Man, I do want to specify, I was not thinking like, oh, it's a different Iron Man. Obviously, it's got to be Robert Downey Jr.
Jeff, are you sure you want to hear these next 2?
You know, it's kind of like, not that anyone will get this, but I can explain it in a way that it doesn't matter. It's like wrestling peaked at some point in, you know, the past like 20 or 30 years, as of like 2010, right? 20, 30 years in 2010. So they just have to keep bringing back people like The Rock, John Cena, Hulk Hogan until he fucking went off the rails and became a racist. Like, I don't know, man. Like, why is it out there? Why is it leaked? It's almost like they need to sell you the new Spider-Man movie. They need to sell you the new Avengers movies by just like, oh, guys, like, look, it's this person from your childhood. Remember, they're still here.
Usually Secret Wars is going to be full of almost entirely, the lineup is going to be cameos of multiversal.
And that's the problem. What do they set up for the next phase? It's the same problem. If you fucking put John Cena and The Rock on the billboard of wrestling events for a decade straight, when they stop being usable as characters in your universe, we can say, you haven't created a new character for anyone to care about, which is a precise problem with wrestling and why it's probably fallen off so much in the mainstream. How is that not happening already to Marvel?
Yeah.
Like,
I never bought Tony Stark's. I've talked about this on the podcast multiple times, but like, I never bought his Endgame arc in the first place. For the people who do, how is this satisfying to you? You know what I mean? Like,
what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you? Why are you blue? Like,
I didn't hate it. in the end game. Like I didn't hate it. I thought it wasn't perfect. I thought there definitely could have been better things.
It's almost like they did it already really well in Iron Man 3, but no one talks about Iron Man 3 because the Mandarin wasn't really in the movie. Oh, we thought the Mandarin was going to be in the movie, but it was a mislead.
Overall, I
That'd be funny to just moan after that.
I definitely agree that the end game story arc for Iron Man wasn't good because it doesn't follow what he's done for the majority of all the other movies, and it felt like going back to Iron Man 3 where it's like, oh, what's the point of me? But obviously, I feel like the eventual finish was very satisfying. All right, and
It's fair, man. Yeah.
that makes me very angry that they're bringing him back.
Case in
Especially
point.
considering how all these other movies, especially the Spider-Man movies, have just relied on the end of Iron Man to continue pushing their narrative.
It's true. Yeah, that's the only dude. That's all I've been thinking about, honestly. Like, it's been a very short time, but I'm like, that was my immediate thought: is what the fuck does Tom Holland's Peter Parker do when Robert Downey Jr. is there in person in front of him as Iron Man? He's
Look
gonna
at
be
Mr.
like,
Stark. This is
Spider-Man
crazy.
gonna be in it?
Of course he's gonna be in it.
and then Iron Man has to not know him. It's just gonna be weird. I don't know.
Well, speaking of
another
Spider-Man who are gonna
Spider-Man
be in
movie?
the movie, apparently the other leak. Do you want to know? I mean,
They're gonna be all the Spider-Man. Fucking Captain
Well, no.
America's probably gonna be there, right?
Andrew, we don't know, but confirmed Toby and Wolverine are gonna be in Secret Wars.
Ooh.
They're gonna
I'm not
interact.
mad about that.
Yes.
Okay, so Hugh Jackman's like, guys, I'm doing it one more time for Deadpool 3. Actually,
Logan
I'm
didn't
gonna do
matter.
it again.
Logan didn't matter.
Actually, I'm doing
Like-
it again for $20 million.
I think that's a more poignant
Patrick
example.
Stewart was like, guys, I'm not doing it again.
Yeah.
I'll die in Doctor Strange in a meaningless fucking whatever.
Yeah. I think that's even more poignant. I think it's almost inarguable how well done Logan's arc was in Logan. What's the point of that? He's back
Guys,
for
it's
Deadpool.
a different Professor X.
No,
It's a different.
but there was an
Wolverine.
interview. There was an interview this week where they asked him, they're like, "So Logan didn't matter," and he's like, "No,
Nope.
you see, mate. This takes place. I can't do it."
Hugh Jackman's about to explain the concept of the multiverse to a fucking interview.
Oh, mate, you don't get it. This one takes place before Logan.
Holy shit! Mind blown.
Okay, like okay. No, so this is it. We discussed Avatar. We discussed Marvel.
This is it.
This
We're
is
sea people now.
This is it.
True.
Can I
Morty,
comment on that?
Morty, we're one of the people now, Morty. We're one of the nay. They, we need Morty. I'm Navi Rick.
One of the people now, Morty.
We're one of the
part
sea
came-
people.
When that
the
part
sea
came
word
up in the
people,
movie,
you know?
Evan and I started laughing uncontrollably, and we were crying because
I think it was
even though
that funny.
it was supposed to be this serious moment, and neither
was
of us
pretty
took it
serious.
seriously.
I
We
don't know.
couldn't.
It's just me. It was like, okay, yeah, like it was. Everyone laughed in the moment.
But when they went
Well,
home,
When
They
they went
weren't
home,
laughing.
what are they thinking about? What are they thinking about?
No,
The
I
sea
still want to
was in
cry
a bad
laughing
time.
thinking about it. It was so poorly done. I will say the ending was.
With what? Jesus. Okay. I mean, you didn't like the movie. You didn't like the movie. But okay.
That was incredible timing.
That was awesome. That was awesome.
Skyla, you had something to say too, right?
What?
I can cut that for you. I'm sorry.
Leave it. Girls fart. Girls poop. It needs to be known.
Okay. Well, this is the section, little outro where we plug things. We plug things that we are working on, that our friends are working on. Anything you want to promote to the two people who are listening. Darian, anything you want to plug?
Probably the good old boys over at Burnout. No, they're putting together some tracks for us.
Okay, Burnout. New track, Stop Moving, I think, is out on Spotify. Has over 800 streams and only 3 listeners. So, it's a joke. It's a joke. Connor, we love you.
Can I anti-plug something?
Yes.
There's this song by this local indie artist, Burnout. It's called "Stop Moving." Could I anti-plug that? Could I say it's the worst thing that's ever happened to music? Not actually. Love you, Connor.
All right, Skyla, you anything to plug or anti-plug?
I have to plug Sungrazer to even it out, so check out Sungrazer. Holy shit. I'm also gonna plug my dog. She's having a surgery tomorrow morning, which she's having a surgery in 5 hours.
Is she having a surgery because you plugged her?
No, she tore her ACL and she tripped running through a ball.
I feel bad about
like sports, dude. Literally.
It is like
She's
sports.
a menace, though. She's literally a monster.
Jeff, is that like sports?
Well, in terms of sports, plug shout out. Everyone pray for Damar Hamlin. He almost died on a football.
I heard it was that COVID-19 vaccine, though.
Yeah, Nabil, you missed this in chat.
So, have you heard
Snapchat group?
Have you heard of what's happening with Damar Hamlin?
Yeah, and in response to Cole Rouse, if he was here, this happens and has happened. People have died of the same kind of thing, like during sports events.
Nabil, have you heard of it?
Yeah, of course. I've seen it in the news.
Yeah.
The news.
I mean, it's incredible. I hate how people are trying to push their own agendas.
People actually pushing their agendas? Didn't he just have a heart attack?
Okay, so for clarification, Cole did say it was because of the COVID vaccine. And I am
glad I left that chat.
So for context, this NFL player, during like a very important game, makes a routine tackle. And when he gets up, he passes out. And then on the field, it turns out that he stopped breathing, stopped having a pulse, and so they had to administer CPR. Not only that, it was like 15 minutes when he was on the field, pretty much, without oxygen before they finally got him oxygen after they got his heart started. It took like 10 minutes for them to even finish administering CPR so that way he had a pulse again. Got to the hospital, they had to administer CPR again. He had to be resuscitated twice in the same day. And a lot of people online, like doctors, medical professionals, are saying it's commotio cordis, which is basically when like you get like a high impact to the chest, specifically in the region where like your left ventricle of your heart is. And due to that, like specifically like when electrical signals are being sent to the heart to like, make it pump, the contact happens at a specific time, which causes arrhythmia, which causes your heart to stop. You go into cardiac arrest. And unfortunately, a lot of people are trying to push this as a COVID vaccine agenda.
This is like more than a Cole Rouse thing.
Yes, like it's huge.
I didn't know that.
No,
that's awful.
A lot of people that
what evidence do they have? Whatever, I'm not
are saying things, and if it turns out to be true,
how would it turn out to be true? It's 2 separate, independent events. He got a booster shot, and he also got a high impact chest impact. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's a thing that happens. It could be caused by. I'm no medical professional. It could be caused by any number of things.
So it's like
the only thing we know that for sure happened was it was cardiac arrest. And right now he's fighting for his life. So all prayers, all thoughts, all hearts, all minds go to Damar Hamlin, a very talented 24-year-old who gives back to his community. You know,
Yeah.
keep him in your thoughts and prayers, your minds and
Crazy
your
shit, bro.
hearts as he
It's not
battles.
even. It's January 4th, and shit's already in the fan.
You know.
You know, not a high note to end on, but a true note. Shit's happening.
You want a high note to end on? Give me one
Sure.
second.
This podcast just
So
ended.
as a result,
not funny.
Of this whole ordeal from Damar Hamlin, he started a fundraiser campaign, like a GoFundMe, back when he was in college, for a toy drive for kids within the Pittsburgh area, which is where he's originally from, where he went to college, and uh, since his injury, the GoFundMe, which had a $2,500 uh, it was a $2,500 goal, a target.
Mm-hmm.
The current donations are nearing on $6 million.
Wow.
So at least if something good came out of this, which obviously we all hope Damar Hamlin's okay, but it's a good thing that at the very least some light has been shed on his charitable donations and his endeavors, and at the very least people have been donating, and uh, word has come from the family that they are planning to do a lot more than just a toy drive for kids. They want to do other things with this money to help give back to the Pittsburgh community, which is really awesome and commendable.
For sure. Yeah, that is definitely a positive side of the story. Well, you guys have been listening to Filmatic Podcast. Be sure to follow everyone here on social media at
Not me, I don't
Kildarian.
have any.
Oh, it was okay. At Skyla.Sheehy. At Jeff Wills on Snapchat or something like that. I don't know. Just look up Jeff Williams on Snapchat.
No.
He invites you to, actually. He's looking forward to it.
No, actually, I don't.
All right, everybody. You guys want to say bye or?